Enduro Race Thursday, Emerson Drive and Hunter Grill Friday, MRO Rodeo Saturday, and the Wild Demo Derby on Sunday. Enjoy free ground acts like the Lumberjack Show, Stone Daisy, Sherwin-Litton, Zero Below, Gila Daniels, and more. Come for the fun, stay for the memories. Full details at StevensCountyFair.org.
Hi, this is Greg Thomas from your locally owned Food and Fuel. Whether you're a hardworking parent that needs a break from cooking or if you're traveling through the area, get it to go. We have award-winning ribs, brisket, pulled pork, chicken, and all the sides from Backdoor Barbecue. So, get it to go. Check out our Food and Fuel Facebook page to see our weekly specials so you can get it to go. And as always, thanks for supporting local business. Get it to go at Food and Fuel, Milbank.
Season 2 of Watertown Shamrocks hockey is right around the corner with the puck set to hit the ice on September 5th. Single game tickets are on sale now, so secure your seats early by purchasing them online at WatertownShamrocks.com.
This week, Barron's Market is turning up the flavor and turning down the prices. Fire up the grill with Angus whole in the bag ribeye loins, just $9.99 a pound. Top off your summer desserts with our family assorted whipped topping, only 99 cents. Keep it chill with Kemp's gallon pails of assorted ice cream, just $5.99. And stay refreshed, 28-ounce bottles of Powerade, only 88 cents. Big bites, cool treats, and unbeatable value, only at Barron's Market.
Dan from Cocktails and Corks and home of the Massive Beer Cave. We're always looking for new items. This year, we've added over 150 new items so far. What's next? I don't know, but make sure you're shopping Cocktails and Corks to find the newest items available. Now, this week's specials.
Half-gallon McMaster's Canadian whiskey, $11.99. Lord Calvert, $16.49. Jackson Morgan creams, 4 flavors, $25.99. Case of Ultra, $21.99.
Cocktails and Corks, home of the Massive Beer Cave and right next to Top Hat Lanes, Milbank.
Ortonville Area Health Services offers professional driving assessments to help you or your loved one stay safe and confident behind the wheel. Whether you're recovering from an injury, adjusting to new medications, or noticing age-related changes in vision or mobility, this evaluation can help. Each assessment is conducted by Wayne Dardis, a licensed occupational therapist and driver rehabilitation professional, and includes cognitive screening, vision screening, and physical assessment. To schedule your driving assessment, call OAHS 320-839-6157.
Classic Hits 95.1 weather.
Here's your KMSD forecast. Slight chance of thunderstorms tonight, otherwise cloudy skies. Lows around 61, southeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 73, cloudy skies. From the South Dakota State Lottery Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, it's 70 degrees.
KMSD.
And welcome out to the final game of day number 3 here at the State Class B American Legion Baseball Tournament. Good evening, baseball fans, wherever you're tuning in and or watching on. I'm Chad Knowles. We have the battle of the only 2 undefeated teams left in the tournament right here tonight. Parkston Post 194 against Del Rapids Post number 65. Del Rapids has ironically had 2 1-0 victories in this tournament. I don't know how often that happens, if ever, but they beat Clarkwell Lake on Friday 1-0, and they defeated Winter Colomb yesterday 1-0 as well. Parkston, to get into this game, they have beat Dakota Valley 7-5 on Friday, and they defeated SMFC 5-2 yesterday. Earlier today, Dakota Valley defeated Winter Colomb 4-2, and Groton in a slugfest over SMFC 16-11. That was earlier today. Now this game here is our last game of the day. Like we said, Del Rapids against Parkston. And again, good evening, everybody. Welcome into baseball. Del Rapids Post 65 is the Region 2B champs, and Parkston Post 194 is the Region 5B champs. So let's set the starting lineups. First of all, for the visitors on the scoreboard, Del Rapids Post 65, they'll bat this way, leading off at third base, Cole Rusink. Batting Batting number 2, the shortstop, Drake Eastman. Batting number 3 in center field, Tad Chaden. Batting cleanup, the left fielder, Connor Hansen. Batting number 5 at second base, Jackson Peppel. Batting number 6 and pitching, Talon Millage. Batting number 7 and playing first base, Lincoln Fursdahl. Batting number 8, catching, Gage Bunkers. And batting number 9 in right field, Kenny Swanson. Del Rapids is coached by Danny Miller. He's assisted by Fran Rusink and Steve Millage. Del Rapids reserves are Jake Heinitz, Jackson Ehlers, Tommy Lavoie, and Matt Nelson. And they're doing the code of ethics now here for the American Legion. So we'll get to Parkston's lineup here shortly. So we're going to keep it right here.
Keep the rules. Keep faith with my teammates. Keep my temper. Keep myself fit. Keep a stout heart in defeat. Keep my pride under in victory. Keep a sound soul, a clean mind, and a healthy body. Play ball.
All right, there you have it. Play ball. So, anyway, let's continue now with the pregame here with Parkston's lineup. Again, Parkston, the home team on the scoreboard. They will bat leading off at first base. Number 1, Caden Holzbauer. Batting number 2, catching, Carter Summer. Batting number 3 in right field, James Deckert. Batting number 4 at third base, Tate Klum. Batting number 6, the DH, Cash Negebauer. Batting number 6 in center field, Coulter Kramer. Batting number 7 at second base, Drew Braley. Batting number 8 at shortstop, Mason Jervik. Batting number 9 in left field, Jax Kurtenbach. And pitching tonight, number 33, Grady Bohr. Parkston is coached by Landon Sudbeck, TJ Schmidt, Ty Negebauer, and Adam During. All right, Parkston is the home team, so they are taking the field here first. So let's set them defensively here. In left field is Jax Kurtenbach. In center field is Coulter Kramer. Over in right is James Deckert. Around the infield for post 194, Tate Klum is at third. Mason Jervik is at short. Drew Braley is at second. And Caden Holzbauer is at first base. Catching behind the dish is Carter Summer. And on the mound is Grady Bohr. Tall right-hander Grady Bohr for Parkston, post number 194. Umpiring crew for tonight, behind home plate is Dan Lund. At first base is Mike Sarda. At second base is Matt Clark. And at third base is Christian Christensen. So you're set for the final game of day number 3 here. Again, this tournament continues tomorrow and ends with the championship game and or games on Tuesday. And again, all the rest of the games will be, of course, right here on KMSD and streaming video and audio to the whole wide world, www.bigstoneradio.com. There goes the peg down to second base. We are ready for Parkston and Del Rapids baseball. Again, both these teams are undefeated here in the tournament. Del Rapids, post 65, leadoff hitter is third baseman number 3, Cole Rusink. So number 3 is Cole Rusink. He'll get the first crack at a Grady Bohr pitch here tonight. Here comes the Parkston righties pitch. That is a fastball right down the center of the plate for a strike to Cole Rusink. No ball and 1 strike, the count to Cole. Of course, if Dells gets on base, they're very active on the base paths. We've seen them a few times this year, and they will run all over the place, but there's another strike delivered in. So no balls and 2 strikes now to Cole Rusink. Drake Eastman waits on deck here for post number 65. Here's the pitch. That is outside, and Cole Rusink was going to take a swing at it, but decided not to. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Cole Rusink. And here comes the Bohr pitch. That is hit in the left field. That's hit pretty hard. And that is going to hit at the base of the fence. Standing up at second with a double is Cole Rusink. That is about exactly, except the ball went way over the fence where Groton's Carter Simon hit one earlier today, clearing the bases loaded. Yep, you got it. That was a grand slam in case you missed it. Grand slam by Cole Simon today for Groton, for Carter Simon, excuse me, as he got all into that one. And that's about where it flew, except it flew over the fence. Anyway, Drake Eastman now at the plate. Drake, the shortstop tonight for Del Rapids. Rusink is on second. There's a pitch to Eastman. That's fouled out of play into just about windshield territory. Probably not quite, but in the parking lot, no doubt. So Drake Eastman, no ball, 1 strike count now to the Del Rapids shortstop. Here's the pitch. There's a shot right up and into center field for a single. Cole Rusink will score. So Del Rapids has matched their each one of the game output so far just in the first inning. They've scored 1 now, and that's what they've scored in each of the first 2 games. Like we said, they defeated Clark Willow Lake Friday 1-0, and they defeated Winter Cologne 1-0. Well, now they're leading 1-0 on the RBI single by Drake Eastman. That'll bring up Tad Chaden, left-handed batter, number 13, playing center field tonight. Tad Chaden, there's a grounder, a bouncer, and a couple of hops out to Braley at second. Nice stretch over there by Caden Holzbauer at first. The out is complete. Tad Chaden grounds out second to third. Taking second in the meantime is Drake Eastman. And I'll bring up number 11, the left fielder Connor Hansen for Del Rapids. Again, Del Rapids has won back-to-back state Class B high school baseball championships. And a lot of the same members, of course, are on this very team right here, including a 5-4 walk-off win this spring in May over Dakota Valley. That's their 4th high school championship in the past 5 years, 5th overall since 2017. Del Rapids did win the 2023 American Legion State Championship. I know you're wondering who won last year. Well, if you don't remember, Elk Point Jefferson, your 2024 State Class B American Legion champ. They defeated Parkston 5-2 down in Salem last year. And there's a hit into left center field. That's where Coulter Kramer is hanging out tonight, and Coulter puts that one away for Parkston, and in the process, taking third is Drake Eastman. And that'll bring up number 24 now, the second baseman, Jackson Peppel for Del Rapids, post number 65. So 2 out. Drake Eastman at third. Del Rapids is up here 1-0, and there's kind of a curveball that hangs too high that time by Grady Bohr. 1 ball and no strikes now to Jackson Peppel. If Jackson reaches, Talon Millage will come to the plate. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be fouled. Again, if there was not that netting behind the home plate, that was about headed my direction. So 1 ball and 1 strike now to Jackson Peppel. Grady Bohr comes to the set. Here's the righty's pitch. There's a hit out into the parking lot.
There's a foul ball sponsored by Ottertail Power Company. That will start our foul ball frenzy. Each foul for the next 10 foul balls will be worth $2 bills.
Next 10 foul balls the kids retrieve. $2 bill goes to each one of them. Here's the 1-1. That's high. And they're going to do the delayed steal at home. And coming in to score head first is Drake Eastman. Remember I mentioned just a couple, 3 minutes ago how active Del Rapids is on the base paths? Well, there you have it right there. They've scored 2, and it's 2-0 right now. Post 65 is ahead here as Jackson Peppel has a 2-2 count. And here comes the Bohr pitch. That is right across the plate, but a little bit outside. So that fills up the count now at 3 balls and 2 strikes to Jackson Peppel. And here comes the pitch now from Bohr. There's a hit into the air into left field. And a nice running catch into foul territory out there by Jax Kurtenbach. So Jackson Peppel flies out to left field, but Del Rapids in the top of the first scores 2. After half an inning, Del Rapids post 65, 2. Parkston post 194 coming to bat. We'll be back with the bottom of the first coming up in a minute on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
Milbank Legion Post 9 welcomes all teams and fans to the state tournament. Milbank is the birthplace of Legion baseball, and they're honored to be able to host the event at the new ballpark. What started 100 years ago has grown to over 50 states and Canada, with over 3,500 teams participating. American Legion Baseball, giving players an opportunity to develop their skills, personal fitness, leadership qualities, and have more fun. Play ball.
Lewis Family Drug is your one-stop location. In addition to quality prescription and non-prescription drugs with free delivery, Lewis has a huge selection of everyday basics and name brands and specialty items, always at affordable prices. They carry seasonal items, fabrics, crafts, and groceries. Shopping at your local Lewis Drug is more simple and more rewarding than ever. Download the Lewis mobile app to add on-the-go convenience to your errands. Lewis Family Drug. Everyday savings close to home.
And let's set up Del Rapids post 65 defensively in left field. Connor Hansen. In center field is Tad Chaden tonight. In right field, Kenny Swanson. Around the infield for post 65, Cole Rusink is at third. Drake Eastman is at short. Jackson Peppel at second. Lincoln Fursdahl at first base. Catching tonight is Gage Bunkers. And on the bump is right-handed pitcher number 22, Talon Millage. For Del Rapids post 65. And Parkston, they will bat here in the bottom of the first inning. Caden Holzbauer, Carter Summer, James Deckert, the first 3 batters for post number 194. Again, Parkston has defeated Dakota Valley on Friday 7-5, and they beat SMFC 5-2 yesterday. So there is a strike delivered in by Talon Millage to Caden Holzbauer. Millage comes to the set now, and here's the pitch. That is outside, right across the plate, but a little bit outside. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Caden Holzbauer. Kind of a stiff breeze out here pretty much all day. Here's the pitch, the 1-1. That is low. Two balls and 1 strike now, the count to Caden Holzbauer. And here comes the pitch. That is hit sharp, but snagged down there at third base. What a nice defensive play by Cole Rusink. I mean, Holzbauer hit that one about as hard as you can literally hit a baseball, but right into the glove of Cole Rusink at third base. And that'll bring up Carter Summer, now the catcher, number 4 for Parkston. Rusink flashing some of that leather there on that snag that was headed down the third base line. There's a strike at the knees of Carter Summer. 1 strike, the count to the Parkston catcher here tonight, number 4. And the 0-1 count from Millage. Here it is. There's a swing and a miss. So Talon way ahead now. No balls and 2 strikes. 1 out, nobody on, bottom of the first. Del Rapids is leading here 2-0. And the 0-2 pitch to Summer. Here it is. That's a little bit outside that time. Millage was going to see if Summer was going to chase that one, and Carter Summer decided not to. So 1 ball and 2 strikes now. And here comes the Talon Millage offering, the 1-2. That missed. Let's put it this way, somewhere. 2 balls and 2 strikes, a little bit high, I believe. A little bit hard sometimes for me to tell from this advantage, or from this vantage point, I should say. The 2-2 count now to Summer. Here it is. And that's hit into left field, and that is going to be a fair ball. A single down the right or left field line by Carter Summer. So Carter is on first base now with his single.
Left field.
And that'll bring up number 9, the right fielder, James Deckert. And I talked about this earlier today in the broadcast, but here we have another uni number playing the position number 9. So James Deckert wears number 9 and plays position number 9, which of course is right field, tonight anyway. There's a grounder into right field for a single for James Deckert. So back-to-back singles by Summer and Deckert.
Singles to right field.
So Summer's on second, Deckert is on first. That'll bring up Tate Klum now, number 5. And guess what position he plays? The 5th position. Third base. Meeting at the mound now quickly here for Del Rapids post number 65. Again, we want to give a shout out here to some of our sponsors for all games here. Birch Miller Post 9, American Legion Post from Milbank, Lewis Family Drug, First Choice Real Estate, Roy's Sports Shop, Jurgen C-Store, Milbank Ford, Harry's Implement, Fernie, Street Graphics, Schmidt's Landing, Milbank Eye Care, the Otter Tail Power Company, Har Motors, Barry Keith, Al's Body Shop, Strong Realty, Dairy Queen Ortonville, Dakota Country Ag Service, Whetstone Sanitation, Millstone Family Restaurant, Pro Image Partners. All games heard right here on KMSD, of course. And we've got 2 more tomorrow. Micah will take you through those 2. And then I have the championship game or games on Tuesday. Meeting at the mound is over. Tate Klum now in the batter's box. Third baseman, Tate takes a strike. So Parkston threatening here. They've got runners on first and second, 1 out. Dells drew first blood here with a 2-0 lead. And we're in the bottom of the first inning. And there's a pitch. Nice job behind the dish that time by Gage Bunkers to prevent that one from going to the retaining wall and from the runners advancing a base. Those are the little things that sometimes don't show up in the box score the next day, but here's the pitch. There's a hit into the air, into left center field. Who's got a beat on it? And that's going to be left fielder Connor Hansen that comes in for that one and makes the catch.
Now batting the designated hitter, number 6, Cash Negebauer.
That'll bring up now the designated hitter, number 6, Cash Negebauer. So now there's still 2 on for Parkston, but now there are 2 outs, and it's 2-0 Del Rapids here in the bottom of the first. Talon Millage, here comes the righty's pitch. That is right across the plate, but a little bit high. Again, Carter Summer is standing out at second base. James Deckert over at first. They had back-to-back singles. Sandwiched around to line out to third base and a fly out to left field. Here's the pitch. That is a curveball, a nice one, a beauty by Millage that time. 1 ball and 1 strike to Cash and Negebauer. And the 1-1 pitch upcoming now from Millage. Here it is. That is low. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Cash Negebauer. Coulter Kramer bats next if the half inning stays alive. 2-0 Del Rapids. Here's the 2-1. That is a little bit low and inside. 3-1. So now Millage 1 bad pitch away from loading up the bases here for Parkston, post number 194. Let's see if Millage battles back here. Here's the 3-1, and that was hit way to the left field side and way foul.
That's a long $2 bet. Sponsored by Milbank.
And the Millage pitch now is upcoming, and there's a swing and a miss. So So Parkston leaves runners at first and second, and Millage gets his first strikeout of this evening. No runs for Parkston. 1 complete. Del Rapids 2, Parkston nothing. We'll be back with more American Legion baseball in a minute on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
Looking to sell your home or lake place? First Choice Real Estate is here to help. Whether you're upsizing, downsizing, or simply looking for a fresh start, they want your listing. Their experienced team of agents are ready to go to work for you with proven marketing strategies and a local touch and the local knowledge you can trust. Contact First Choice Real Estate in Milbank today to list your property. Make First Choice Real Estate your first choice. Online at milbanksbest.com. Roy's Sports Shop in Watertown welcomes all teams and fans to town for the Legion Tournament. Roy's has been the sporting goods leader in this area for over 55 years. Uniforms, sports equipment for baseball, softball, hockey, and more. Plus, clothing and footwear, too. Get in the game. Get into Roy's Sports Shop on Highway 212 in Watertown, across from Watertown Ford. Shop weekdays 9 to 6, 10 to 3 on Saturday.
And welcome back here to the birthplace of American Legion Baseball. 100 years old this year is American Legion Baseball, and it was founded right here in this city in northeast South Dakota with about 3,500 people. That was 100 years ago that baseball, Legion Baseball, was born here, and we've had some big tournaments and celebrating this 100th year this whole summer, and it's been fun, each and every one of them. All right, that's going to bring up now, top of the second inning, Talon Millage, the pitcher, number 22 for Del Rapids, post 65. Again, post 65 is leading 2-0 here on the scoreboard. And so the pitch from Bohr now, that is going to be a fastball that's just a little bit high. 1 ball and no strikes to Talon Millage. So you've got pitcher against pitcher right here now in the matchup. And here's the pitch. That is inside. So 2 balls and no strikes now to Talon Millage. Lincoln Fursdahl waits on deck for Del Rapids. Here's the 2-0 now from Bohr. There's a swing and a miss by Millage. So 2 balls and 1 strike now to 22, number 22, Talon Millage. Here's the pitch. That's hit hard down the left field line, but foul. There's a hit by Millage, and second baseman Drew Braley gloves it.
Millage lines up to the second baseman for the first out of the inning. Now batting the first baseman, number 12, Lincoln Fursdahl.
That will bring up first baseman now, number 12, Lincoln Fursdahl. So base is empty, 1 out here for post 65 in the top of the second inning. There's the pitch to Fursdahl. That is outside. So 1 ball and no strikes now to Lincoln Fursdahl. Top of the second is where we are. Here's the pitch. That's a fastball in the outside corner. In for a strike. Fursdahl digs in, left-handed batter for post number 65. And here's the pitch. That is low, and that gets away from the catcher. Carter Summer, but no damage done in terms of advancing on the bases for Del Rapids because the bases are empty. 2 balls and 1 strike now the count to Fursdahl. Here's the Bohr pitch. That is low and inside. 3 balls and 1 strike now, so a hitter's count for Lincoln Fursdahl. We'll see what number 12 does with it right here. Here's the 3-1 now to Lincoln. He takes it right down Broadway. Center cut fastball that time by Bohr. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The payoff pitch, here it is to Fursdahl. That's hit into the air, into right field. That's hit pretty good. James Deckert, though, draws a beat on it, and actually the center fielder, Coulter Kramer, goes into right center to pull that one in.
Now batting the catcher, number 8, Gage Bunkers.
And that'll bring up the catcher now, number 8, Gage Bunkers. So Gage Bunkers in the batter's box now. Base is empty. Nobody, or 2 outs here for Del Rapids, and there's a swing and a foul back to the netting behind home plate. A mighty swing that time, I might add, by number 8, Gage Bunkers. But got around a little bit late and just fouled it back to the netting behind home plate. No ball, 1 strike count now to Bunkers. And here's the 0-1. That sails high and outside on the Grady Bauer fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kenny Swanson will bat next if indeed the half inning stays alive here for post number 65. Here's the pitch. That sails high with the fastball, so Bauer behind now. Bauer behind, 2-1. And the 2-1 pitch, here it is. That's fouled back to the netting, about that exact same place that Gage Bunkers fouled it back before. So now 2s are wild, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the second. And the 2-2 pitch. It's a swing and a miss. Grady Bauer records his first strikeout here this evening. And that will close 1 inning and a half here in the State Class B American Legion Baseball Tournament. Game 3 of day number 3. It's your score, Del Rapids 2, Parkston nothing. We'll be back with more baseball in 1 minute on BigStoneRadio.com and KMSD. Back in 1 minute.
Calling all anglers and adventurers. Discover the ultimate convenience store at Jurgen Sea Store in Wilmont. New to our lineup, live bait. That's right, we've got fresh minnows and wriggling worms to help you hook the big one. But wait, there's more. Our deli serves up savory burgers, mouth-watering Piccadilly pizza, snacks, cold beverages, and a whole lot of yum. And don't forget to top off your tank while you're here. Fill up your car, pickup, and boat with top-notch gas so you can hit the road or the water without missing a beat. For all your fishing and fueling needs, there's only one name to remember, Jurgen Sea Store in Wilmont. Another great Stills and Oil Company Sea Store. Let the adventure begin.
Hi, Darren Mertens here from Milbank Ford. We have a great new inventory on hand here, so come in, check them out, take a test drive, and have Chuck work out a great deal for you for some new transportation. We also have a lot of very nice pre-owned units. If you are in the need of service, call in and talk to Gene, Ryan, and they will take care of all your maintenance and repair needs. 605-432-4525 or milbankford.net. Milbank Ford, West Highway 12 in Milbank.
And welcome back to Legion Field at Farley Park here in Milbank, South Dakota. A facility in its 2nd year of operation, and what a nice one it is. And they are adding amenities all the time. And this is the site of the State Class B American Legion Baseball Tournament here on a Sunday. This tournament again goes tomorrow and ends on Tuesday. Parkston will come up here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Coulter Kramer, Drew Braley, and Mason Jervik will come to the plate.
In the bottom of the second, the center fielder, number 7, Coulter Kramer.
Coulter Kramer, the center fielder tonight for Parkston. He wears number 7. Here is the millage pitch. That's across the plate, but outside. 1 ball and no strikes now to Coulter Kramer. And here comes the 1-0 from Millage. That is right there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. And the Talon Millage pitch, here it comes. That is grounded to Jackson Pepple at second. He scoops it up over to first. The out is complete. Coulter Kramer grounds out, second to first. That'll bring up now the second baseman, number 2, Drew Braley for Parkston, post 194. A cloudy, hazy day here in Milbank. Temperatures kind of cool as well, quite windy out here. Trying to check on my weather phone here, and I don't know, it says only about 10 to 15 miles an hour for the wind, but I know it's more than that. At times, anyway. 1 ball and no strikes. Here comes the pitch. That is a little bit low. 2 balls and no strikes to Drew Braley. Base is empty, 1 out here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. It's Del Rapids 2, Parkston 0. And here comes the pitch. That's going to be fisted the other way down the right field line and in foul territory. What a nice catch in foul territory by Lincoln Fursdahl from his first base position.
He flies out to third itself for out number 2. Now batting shortstop.
And that'll bring up now the shortstop, number 0, Mason Jervik. And again, of course, these, like we said, are the only 2 undefeated teams left in the tournament. So even the loser tonight will obviously still play tomorrow. But we just have to figure out who plays when and who plays who. And that'll be, well, it's kind of figured out already, but we'll see you here after the game. So anyway, there are 2 games tomorrow. We do know that. The 0-1 pitch now to Jervik. Here it is. And that's hit into left field. And that is going to find green in front of Connor Hansen. Taking the wide turn at first and staying right there is Mason Jervik with his single to left field. And that'll bring up now Jax Kurtenbach, number 11, the left fielder for Parkston. And now Del Rapids coach is going to jog to the mound, talk to his right-handed pitcher, Talon Millage. Infield comes to join the coach as well. So again, thanks to our sponsors here for bringing you these baseball games since Friday and all the way through Tuesday. Some of them are Pro Image Partners, Millstone Family Restaurant, Whetstone Sanitation, Dakota Country Ag Service, Strong Realty, Dairy Queen, Ortonville, Al's Body Shop, the Outer Tail Power Company, Har Motors, Barry, Keith, Smith's Landing, Milbank Eye Care, Streets Graphics, Harry's Implement Fernie, Milbank Ford, Roy Sports Shop, Jurgen C-Store, First Choice Real Estate, Lewis Family Drug and Birch Miller Post 9, American Legion Post right here in Milbank. Meeting at the mound is over. Coach for Del Rapids returns to his first base dugout, and we are ready back for more action here as Jax Kurtenbach, like we said, steps into the batter's box now with Jervik at first. And 2 outs. Here's the pitch. That is a strike. Delivered in to Jax Kurtenbach. 2-0 Del Rapids here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. And the 0-1 pitch. There's a dribbler on the ground to short. Drake Eastman up with a throw over to first in time. Jax Kurtenbach rounds out short to first, stranding Mason Jervik at first. So 2 complete here in the State Class B American Legion Baseball Tournament from Milbank. Your score, Del Rapids 2 and Parkston 0. We'll be back with more baseball in a minute on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
Step up to the plate with farm equipment you can count on. From Harry Implement in Fernie, your hometown Case IH and Massey Ferguson dealer, delivering a lineup of tractors, combines, and hay equipment that hits it out of the park. Need parts? Service? We're in your corner. Family owned since 1935. Harry Implement is built on hard work and rooted in the land, just like America's pastime. Harry Implement in Fernie. Sales, service, and parts that cover all the bases. Harry Implement, proud to support the Groton Legion Post 39 baseball team at the state tournaments.
Here's where the good ideas come from. Street Graphics, Main Street, Milbank. Working with local schools to provide ideas and solutions for fundraising. They can customize a design just for you. T-shirts, trophies, banners, buttons, contract printing. They do it all. They work in quantities from 1 to 5,000. Printing and promotions, they print on anything but paper. See them at streetgraphics.com. That's graphics with an EX. Main Street, Milbank, South Dakota. Streetgraphics.com.
And welcome back into the broadcast booth here. I'm Chad Knowles, glad to be along with you here tonight. Again, Micah Warrington back in the air chair here tomorrow for the 2 games. There's a hit into left field, and that's going to be trouble probably. Except that's going to be foul. So Kenny Swanson jogs back to home plate now after he hit that one kind of where nobody was, but it was in foul territory. So, I mean, if that would have been in fair territory, that would have been at least a single. But Kenny Swanson, as it is, in the batter's box with a no ball, 1 strike count. Here's the pitch to Swanson. That sails outside from Boer. 1 ball and 1 strike now to the right fielder tonight from Del Rapids, number 17. He is Kenny Swanson. And the 1-1 pitch now from Boer. Here it is. There's a pop fly, but that's going to go out of play. Going to hit just a little bit off to my left here in the press box.
And it is worth a $2 bill.
There's another $2 bill, foul ball for some young kid. And the 1-1 Boer pitch, here it is. That is low. 2 balls and 1 strike. To Kenny Swanson. We turn the top of the lineup, and Cole Rusink up next for Del Rapids. Here's the 2-1. That's low and outside. 3-1 now to Kenny Swanson. So Kenny is trying to get on here as the 9th place hitter and turn over the top of the lineup with Cole Rusink and Drake Eastman and Tad Chaden. There's the 3-0 or 3-1 now, and that's going to be a walk. Actually, that was a full count pitch. So Swanson draws the leadoff walk. That will bring up Cole Rusink, who doubled and scored on Drake Eastman's RBI. So top of the 3rd is where we are. Here's the pitch. There's a hit into the air, into pretty far center field, right center field, and that's going to be caught out there. Oh, what a nice catch. Again, it looked like the 2 athletes out there were going to collide, and I don't know, hopefully there's one still sitting on the ground. I hope he's going to be okay. But that was a nice catch out there by right fielder James Deckard, as him and center fielder Coulter Kramer were on a mad rush for the same baseball. And flying out to right field is Cole Rusink on a nifty catch out there by James Deckard, who went way into right center field to catch that one. And that'll bring up Drake Eastman, now the shortstop, RBI single, and he scored a run as well. So it's 2-0 Del Rapids. There's the pitch. That's a sharp grounder on the 3rd base side, but goes foul. 2-0 Del Rapids, post 65 if you're just tuning in here over Parkston, post 194. Top of the 3rd, 1 out, a 0-1 and no ball, 1 strike count to Drake Eastman. Throw over to first, and Boer had him just about leaning the wrong way, but getting back in safely just so that time as Kenny Swanson. Looked like Kenny was almost going to take off to second base, and Grady Boer spotted that and fired a P over to first base and just about picked him off. Here's another throw over to first. That's not quite as close this time as the last one was, but still a fairly close play over there. Grady Boer is certainly telling Kenny Swanson, I'm paying attention to you, young man. No ball and 1 strike now. Here's the pitch. There's a swing and a miss by Drake Eastman. So no ball and 2 strike count now to number 5, the shortstop, Drake Eastman. Again, Drake owns an RBI single tonight and a run scored. And the 0-2 offering now to Eastman. There goes the runner. It's a swing and a miss, and there's the tag, but the ball was dropped by shortstop Jervik. But Drake Eastman does strike out, so strikeout number 2 recorded for
number 13.
Pitcher Grady Boer for Parkston. In the meantime, Swanson goes into second base, so that'll bring up Tad Chaden now, who grounded out second to first. Here's the Boer pitch. There's a grounder to first. Scooped up by Holzbauer. He touches the bag. Chaden goes out 3 unassisted, and that's going to bring a close to the third inning for Del Rapids. They do not score, so 2.5 in the books. It's Del Rapids 2 and Parkston 0. We'll be back with more State B American Legion Baseball coming up in a minute on KMSD and on the internet, BigStoneRadio.com.
Dreaming of a getaway? Escape to Schmidt's Landing on beautiful Big Stone Lake. Whether you're casting for walleyes, perch your bass, or just enjoying the stunning views, Schmidt's Landing has something for everyone. Relax in comfortable lakeside suites, or set up your camper or tent for a long weekend. How about spending this summer at your seasonal RV spot? There are also boat and pontoon rentals, plus a fully stocked C-store with bait and licenses. Discover a family adventure or a peaceful retreat at Schmidt's Landing. Visit schmidtslanding.com and like them on Facebook. This summer in Milbank, the crack of the bat and cheers from the stands bring us all together. Whether you're watching your grandkid hustle to first base or catching a game under the lights, Milbank Eye Care is here to help you see it all. No squinting required. From clear glasses to summer shades, they'll help you catch every moment in sharp focus. Swing by to make an appointment for a checkup. Milbank Eye Care. Clear vision, community pride, and baseball memories made sharp.
And the home half of the third coming up here for Parkston Post 194. They'll send the top of the lineup, Caden Holzbauer, Carter Summer, and James Deckert up to the plate. Against Del Rapids, post number 65, pitcher Talon Millage. As Caden Holzbauer now, here's the pitch, that's low and outside. Caden lined out hard to third base. Nice catch out there by Cole Rusink back in the first. 1 ball and no strikes now to Holzbauer. Here comes the pitch. That is the same pitch, just about same location, maybe a little further outside. 2 balls and no strikes now to Holzbauer. 2-0. It's Del Rapids leading. Bottom of the third inning. Here's the 2-0 count now. That's a nice curveball that floats over for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. And 2 balls and 1 strike now the count.
Like the chicken.
And here it is. That is a strike as well. 2 balls and 2 strikes. To Caden Holzbauer. And here comes the pitch. That is low and outside. So 3 balls and 2 strikes now. The count is full to Holzbauer. Carter Summer will bat next for Parkston. Here's the full count pitch by Millage. There's a swing and a foul down the first base line. Just a few feet foul. So count rides along full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Caden Holzbauer from Talon Millage, the right-handed pitcher for Del Rapids. Here's the payoff pitch, and that is going to be inside, or it hit him, one of the two. Either way, he's going to take first base.
Holzbauer is hit by the pitch. Now batting the catcher number 4, Carter.
So Holzbauer was officially hit by the pitch. So we'll bring up Carter Summer. Like I said, he was going to be on first base either way, either via the walk or the hit by pitch, but he was hit by pitch. Carter Summer singled and was stranded at second. Back in the first inning, here's the Millage pitch. That's grounded to third, and that's down the third base line fair. And taking a wide, and I mean wide turn at second base is Caden Holzbauer. And Summer singles to left. So now Parkston has something cooking here with nobody out in the bottom of the third inning. Here's James Deckert now in the heart of the order coming up, and I think Talon Millage might be done pitching already for tonight for Del Rapids. And yeah, so we're going to catch up with the changes. We'll be back with more baseball. It's 2-0 Del Rapids. We'll be back with more baseball on a Sunday night from the State B American Legion Baseball Tournament coming up here in 1 minute on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
When Mother Nature turns up the temperature, we all feel the heat. It can add stress to almost everything, including including the energy resources we rely on. Otter Tail Power Company reminds you there are easy ways to help. Use only necessary lights and turn them off when you leave a room. Turn your AC thermostat up a few degrees. And use window coverings to block the heat of the sun during the day. Visit otpco.com/tips for more ideas on how to stay cool. Together, we can all make a difference to help keep the heat.
Looking for your next ride? Our Motors in Aberdeen is now offering 0% financing for qualified buyers on select Nissan Rogues, Pathfinders, and Muranos. Plus, don't miss great deals on Toyota Tacomas and Tundras. They're the home of the lifetime warranty, so you can drive with confidence for miles to come. Stop in and see Barry Keith at R Motors just across from the airport in Aberdeen, or call 605-725-8624. Proud to support the Groton Legion Post number 39 baseball team. Good luck in the region tournament.
Trying to catch up with some of these defensive changes here, which sometimes is easier said than done. Anyway, we know on the bump now is Lincoln Fursdahl. Tad Chaden is over at first base for Del Rapids. Okay, so it looks like Jackson Peppel perhaps moved into center field. So then we'll have to find out who's at second base for Del Rapids. That is Cole Rusink. And somebody else is at third too. That might be Millage. That looks like Talon Millage at third for Del Rapids. I think we're caught up. And the pickoff play is on back to second. And getting back in safely is Caden Holzbauer. And the Lincoln Fursdahl pitch, here it is. That is right across the plate, but outside. So 1 ball and no strikes now. To James Deckert, Caden Holzbauer on second, Carter Summer over at first for Parkston. Here's the pitch. That's an opposite field single into left field, and they're going to hold the runner at third. Caden Holzbauer was going to come home, but he was held up by third base coach, and James Deckert hits an opposite field single into left field. So now Parkston has the bases loaded with nobody out. They're down 2-0, but
third baseman number 5, Tate Klum.
That lead is tenuous right now, as Tate Klum, the cleanup hitter, comes up. He flew out to left field his only other time up, so he's 0 for 1. Jackson Peppel is in center field, by the way. Third base is Talon Millage. Cole Rusink is at second. Tad Chaden over at first. And again on the bump is Lincoln Fursdahl for Del Rapids. The 1-0 now, and that's going to be right across the plate for a strike to Tate Klum. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bases full of post 194 runners here for Parkston, and nobody out here in the bottom of the third. Here's the pitch by Fursdahl. That is a ball outside. So 2 balls and no strikes. Or 2-1, I beg your pardon. Here's the 2-1. That is a ball. No place to put Klum. Bases are loaded. 3 balls and 1 strike now, the count. And here comes the pitch. That is a ball 4 walk. RBI for Tate Klum. And coming in to score is Caden Holzbauer. Going to third is Summer, to second is Deckert.
Bases loaded, walk, bringing up the designated hitter, number 6, Cash Negabauer.
And now we change the scoreboard to 2-1. Del Rapids is leading, and the bases are still loaded, and Cash Negabauer to the plate now for Parkston. And there's the pitch by Fursdahl that misses. Cash Negabauer struck out against starting pitcher Talon Millage. strike. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Cash Negebauer. Again, it's 2-1. Del Rapids is leading. Parkston threatening, though, bases loaded, nobody out. Here's the pitch. Negebauer takes that one high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Coulter Kramer waits on deck. Now let's see if Fursdahl can get out of this jam, or if Parkston will keep the runs coming in here. 2-1, Del Rapids is leading for now, but again, Parkston has the bases loaded here with nobody out. And Cash Negebauer working himself into a hitter's count at 2-1. There's the Fursdahl pitch. That's a strike right at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cash Negebauer. And here comes the pitch. That is a swing and a miss. And strikeout number 1 recorded for Lincoln Fursdahl.
Now batting in the center fielder, number 7, Coulter Kramer.
And that's a huge strikeout, of course, if you're Del Rapids, because you keep the bases loaded now for Parkston, but now there's 1 out, and Coulter Kramer can still drive in a run with a fly ball to a deep enough part of the ballpark here that would tie the game. Here's the pitch from Fursdahl. That's the fastball that's high. 1 ball and no strikes now to Coulter Kramer, who grounded out to second. He's 0 for 1 here this evening. Here's the Fursdahl offering. That is inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That's a fly ball out of play to the right. 2 balls and 1 strike now, Coulter Kramer.
$2 foul ball.
Coulter Kramer just got around a little bit too late on that one and hit it out the opposite way, foul. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Coulter Kramer. And here comes the pitch. There's a swing and a foul back to the retaining wall here in front of us behind home plate to even the count up now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bases full of Parkston post 194 runners with 1 out and a 2-2 count now to Coulter Kramer. And a 2-1 Del Rapids lead. Here's the pitch by Fursdahl. That's hit out of play to the left.
There's another $2 foul ball.
And another $2 foul ball, according to public address announcer Brady Femling immediately off to my left here. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Coulter Kramer. Here's the pitch. That's a mile-high pop-up, but that's out of play as well. So the count rides along. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Summer at third, Deckard at second, Klum at first. 2-2, here it is. And that is a ball to fill up the count now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Payoff pitch, here it is. There's a hit into left field, and that's going to go a ways. And that's going to be not caught. 1 run is going to score. 2 runs are going to score. Here comes the 3rd run. Bases clearing double by Colton Kramer. 3 runs batted in for Coulter Kramer. And that gives Parkston a lead at 4-2. What wind there is sure blowing out to left and left center field tonight, and today as well, because that one got caught up in the Jets, and Coulter Kramer rewards himself with a 3 RBI double, scoring Summer, Deckard, and Klum simultaneously. 4-2 now. Parkston is leading, and there's a strike thrown into Drew Braley. So the pitch now from Fursdahl, that is right across the plate as well. Cuts the plate in half. No balls. balls and 2 strikes. The count now to Drew Braley. And here comes the, nope, Braley just gets timeout granted by home plate umpire Dan Lund. Here's the Fursdal pitch. That is popped up, foul, out of play.
There goes your 7 $2 foul ball. 3 remain in the foul ball frenzy.
3 $2 fly balls left to retrieve out here tonight. So no balls and 2 strikes to Drew Braley. Here's the pitch. There's a swing and a foul tip. And so Parkston has Coulter Kramer at second with his bases clearing double. And a no ball, 2 strike count to Drew Braley. And the Lincoln Fursdal pitch is upcoming. Here it is. That's right back to Fursdal at the mound. Now they've got the runner in between second and third, and they're going to try to get him out. And there is going to be a tag out at third. And that was close. Coulter Kramer made that very, very close. Drew Braley, in the meantime, goes to second on the fielder's choice. But out at third is Coulter Kramer.
Shortstop number 0, Mason Jervik.
Just so, I should say, as he was just tagged out. He just about slid under that tag, but not quite. So Braley becomes the runner at second. Now he trades places with Coulter Kramer. And it's still 4-2 Parkston, and they are leading here in the bottom of the third inning. Here's the Fursdal pitch. That is right across the plate to Mason Jervik, who singled last half inning, was stranded at first. 1 strike count now to Jervik from Fursdal. And here is the pitch. That is a swing and a miss. So Jervik in a no ball, 2 strike hole here against Lincoln Fursdal. Fursdal checks Braley, out at second. And he goes back and touches second base. Drew Braley does. The 0-2 pitch upcoming from Fursdal. Here it is. That is grounded. It hits the pitcher's mound. Shortstop cuts it off, though. And Drake Eastman with the guns out Mason Jervik. But damage done for Parkston. They score 4 runs and they grab the lead. After 3, it's Parkston 4, Del Rapids 2. We'll be back with more baseball from the State B American Legion Baseball Tournament in Milbank in a minute on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
Are you in need of collision repair? Look no further than Al's Body Shop. Their team of expert technicians has years of experience and are dedicated to getting your car or truck back on the road in no time. From minor dings to major body damage, they've got you covered. And with their state-of-the-art equipment, they can handle any make or model. Plus, they work with all insurance companies to make the process as easy as possible. Don't let an accident slow you down. Go see Al's Body Shop today. Al's Body Shop, Milbank. Quality collision repair you can trust. Dairy Queen in Ortonville is your locally owned and operated DQ serving the Big Stone Lake area and beyond. Beat the summer heat with one of their cool treats like the famous Blizzard, Peanut Buster Parfait, hand-dipped cone, sundaes, and more. If you're looking for the best meal deal around $7, the DQ deal meal cannot be beat. Choose from a cheeseburger or chicken strips, fries, beverage, and a sundae for only $7. Make the sundae a Blizzard for just $2 more. Hot eats, cool treats at Dairy Queen in Ortonville. Open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily.
So now, just like that, Parkston pitcher Grady Boer has a 2-run lead to work with.
Will be the left fielder number 11, Connor Hansen.
And now Del Rapids will need to play a little catch-up here. They're down by 2. And there's a hit into the air, into the infield. Tate Klum at third base takes charge, and he gloves it on the infield grass. Connor Hansen flies out. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the top of the 4th.
Third baseman, drop number 1.
And that will now bring up
number 24,
Jackson Peppel, who who is now in center field defensively for Del Rapids. He started this game tonight at second base. And here's the pitch now to Peppel. He grounds that one down the third base line, but foul. A strike to number 24, Jackson Peppel. Here's the right-hander Boer's pitch. It's a curveball, but that stays inside. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Jackson Peppel. Talon Millage bats next here for Del Rapids, post number 65. Has the 1-1 pitch now. Here it is. That's way outside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Grady Boer, or from Grady Boer to Jackson Peppel. Base is empty, 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning. Here's the pitch. That's right across the plate by Boer, but a little bit low. So a 3 ball, 1 strike count now to Peppel. So Jackson in a hitter's count here. If he gets something good to drive, we'll wait and see. Here's the 3-1. That is just low and outside. Peppel takes a walk. That'll bring up Talon Millage.
The 1-out walk, bringing up the third baseman, number 22, Talon Millage.
Starting pitcher tonight was number 22, Talon Millage, but now he's at third base defensively. So top of the 4th inning, Del Rapids batting and trailing here 4-2. Grady Boer throws it over to first, and diving back in under the tag safely is Jackson Peppel. Millage waiting for a pitch thrown homeward here to him. And here it comes. That's low and outside. Nice block behind the dish that time by Carter Summer. One ball and no strikes, the count to Talon Millage. And the throw over to first, and diving back in safely once again is Jackson Peppel. And there's a hit out of play to the right.
There goes the 8th foul ball Frenzy Curame.
And that landed way out in the parking lot. A couple, 3 boys are chasing it out there, and they're running way away from us here. That must have gone a long ways. And there's a snap throw down to first. Getting back in time, standing up, is Jackson Peppel. Meanwhile, the count is 2-1 now to Millage. Or we'll see, one ball and 2 strikes, I guess, to Millage. There's a throw over again by Bauer. Again in safely is Jackson Peppel. And that's a Grady Boer pitch. That is a little bit low and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Talon Millage. Again, Parkston scored 4. Del Rapids scored 2. Del Rapids in the first, Parkston in the third. Here's the pitch, and there's a hit into left field by Talon Millage. That's going to be a single. And stopping at second is Jackson Peppel. Nice piece of hitting that time by Millage. He just went with the pitch and surfed it out into left field for a single. And that'll bring up the now pitcher, Lincoln Fursdahl, and there's going to be a meeting now from the Parkston coach as he's going to go talk to his starting pitcher, and we might be playing a little pitch count here. We'll wait and see if he's going to make a pitching change or not. It might be just a conversation too. We'll just wait and see. It's really hard to tell from up here sometimes. So for now, we're just going to keep it right here and tell you that Micah is back with you tomorrow during the 2 games that will be played here tomorrow. The first game will be at 4 o'clock, and the second game will be about 30 minutes after that. And Grady Boer will indeed stay on the mound for Parkston to keep pitching. And again, those exact matchups we'll have to tell you after this game is over with. tell you it will involve Parkston, Groton, Del Rapids, and Dakota Valley. Those are the 4 teams that will play tomorrow. It's just a matter of when and who they play. Here's the pitch now. That's kind of a curveball by Bohr that time. A nice one. That's going to get in there to Lincoln Fursdahl. 1 strike. The count to Fursdahl, who wears number 12. Again, runners on first and second for Del Rapids. Peppel on second. Millage on first. Here's the pitch from Bohr. That's going to be fouled back to the retaining wall here. So, no balls and 2 strikes to count as Grady Bohr gets ahead of Lincoln Fursdahl. Here's the pitch. That is just off the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That was a good eye that time by Fursdahl to take that pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the Bohr pitch, and that is on the ground. Sharp shot to second. Braley to second for 1. On to first. Not in time. But Talon Millage is forced out at second base. And becoming the runner at first on the fielder's choice is Lincoln Fursdahl. In the meantime, Jackson Peppel checks in at third base. And that'll bring up Gage Bunkers, the catcher, number 8. Gage struck out back in the second inning. 4-2, Parkston is leading here in the top of the 4th inning. And Bohr to the set, squaring to bunt, and there's not going to even be a throw down to second as Fursdahl stands up. And that was a strike, by the way, taken by Bunkers. So now the tying run is at second base with 2 outs. Second and third are the runners for Del Rapids. Here's the pitch. There's a foul out of play to the left, the opposite way for the left-handed batter, Gage Bunkers.
There's a Crooked Creek Ranch foul ball worth $2.
A no ball, 2 strike count now to Gage Bunkers. And here is the pitch. That is grounded on to first base. Caden Holzbauer takes it unassisted. So Gage Bunkers grounds out, first baseman unassisted. Del Rapids strands runners at second and third. Here in the top of the 4th, 3.5 complete. State B, American Legion Baseball from Milbank. Your score, Parkston 4, Del Rapids 2. We'll be back with more baseball from the state baseball tournament coming up in a minute on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
Dakota Country Ag Service in Milbank is your local Pioneer seed dealer. Dakota Country is now offering soil testing, and they have winter wheat and rye available. Dakota Country also has inoculants for hay silage, both soluble and dry, and inoculants for baling hay as well. For more information or to schedule an on-the-farm visit, call Paul 605-467-0715 or Riley 605-949-4170. Dakota Country Ag Service, your local Pioneer seed dealer in Milbank. Whetstone Sanitation is your locally owned and locally operated garbage service provider in Milbank, rural Grant County, and along Big Stone Lake. Whetstone Sanitation offers once or twice a week residential pickup and up to 5 days per week commercial pickup. Whetstone Sanitation offers 14, 20, and 30-yard roll-off dumpster rentals for those big cleanup projects. Whetstone Sanitation also has quality portable toilet rentals and septic pumping service. And of course, they still provide 24/7 self-service recycling drop-off. Call Whetstone Sanitation today, 432-5854.
KMSD Milbank, a Big Stone radio station.
And we're getting set to go to the bottom of the 4th inning here. Del Rapids is trailing Parkston 4-2 here at the day 3 in the battle of the unbeatens here so far in the tournament that are left in the state Class B tournament this year are these 2 teams right here. And that is going to be Parkston coming to bat here in the bottom of the 4th inning. They will send up Jax Kurtenbach, and then the top of the lineup and Caden Holzbauer and Carter Summer.
Leading out 4, post 194 in the bottom of the 4th, left fielder number 11, Jax Kurtenbach.
Jax Kurtenbach grounded out to short. Back in the second, he's 0 for 1 here on the stat line tonight. And here comes the pitch now from Lincoln Fursdahl. It's right across the plate for a strike. Fursdahl took over for Talon Millage. He came in relief last half inning. And the 0-1 now, there's a Fursdahl fastball that's high. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jax Kurtenbach. And here's the 1-1 now. That is a swing and a miss. A mighty cut that time by number 11. One ball and 2 strikes. Asking for time and getting time granted is Jax Kurtenbach. Now he's back in the batter's box with a 1-2 count. Here comes the pitch. That is fouled back to the netting. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Now the count to Jax Kurtenbach. 32. And the Lincoln Fursdahl pitch, there it is, and that is going to be a ball. So 2 balls and 1 strike now. That missed a little bit high. 33. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch. And that's low. So 3 balls and 2 strikes now. Nice patient at-bat here by Jax Kurtenbach. He has worked the count full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Parkston is up here 4-2 in the bottom of the 4th. There's a grounder into left field for a single. And taking a wide turn is Jax Kurtenbach at first base. Slams on the brakes. So that'll be the back of the top of the order now. Caden Holzbauer. He was hit by a pitch, scored a run, and lined out hard to third base in the first inning. So Parkston scored all 4 of theirs in the third. Del Rapids got their 2 in the first. And we're now in the bottom of the 4th with Parkston batting and Caden Holzbauer, the first baseman. And here's the pitch, squaring to bunt. That's a nice bunt. And there's going to be a throw to first base. And that was a nice play as well by Fursdahl off the mound that time, as he got popped off the mound and fired a P over to first base. Tad Chaden. And they just got out Caden Holzbauer, but going into second is Jax Kurtenbach. So that's where he is now. Carter Summer in the batter's box. He has a pair of singles and a run scored here already tonight. So a pretty nice stat line, 2 for 2 with a run scored. And here's the pitch. There's a pop-up on the infield. Who wants it? Tad Chaden says he has it. He circles underneath it, and Tad Chaden puts it away from his first base position. Actually, he was drifting more toward the pitcher's mound when the ball found the glove. Anyway, Carter Summer pops out to the first baseman. And that'll bring up James Deckard now, who has a single and a run scored. A couple of singles actually tonight and a run scored. Here's the pitch. That is low and inside. 1 ball and no strikes to James Deckard. 4-2 Parkston, bottom of the 4th. Here's the 1-0 now. That is high. 2 balls and no strikes. Fursdahl checks the runner at second. There's a pitch that is hit into left field, and that could be trouble. But Drake Eastman, I think, comes up with it from the shortstop position, as that is a nice catch out there on the dead run by Drake Eastman all the way from his shortstop position. So Deckard flies out to short, and that'll end 4 innings here, and your score is 4-2. Parkston is leading here, and we'll be back with more State American Legion baseball coming up in 1 minute on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
As the temperatures rise this summer, the Millstone Family Restaurant Restaurants in Milbank has decided if you're melting, we're melting. With their all-new summer menu featuring all things melty. Start with the chicken Parmesan melt with crispy chicken, deep-fried mozzarella cheese on toasted Texas toast. Yum! The cheesy taco wrap and elevated super burrito with Monterey Jack cheese sauce. So cheesy. The super quesadilla, a classic cranked up a notch, and the cheeseburger salad just may be your new favorite. If you're melting, we're melting. At the Millstone Family Restaurant, East Highway 12, Milbank.
Pro Image Partners. Pro Image Partners. So many reasons why you can turn to us. We'll help you show your pride. You want the best for work or play. We're your one-stop image shop. We'll help you show your pride. ProImagePartners.com.
And welcome back out to a beautiful Legion Field at Farley Park here in Milbank, the birthplace of American Legion baseball. Parkston is leading Del Rapids here 4-2 in the top of the fifth inning.
Number 17, Kenny Swanson.
As Kenny Swanson will lead off for post 65 here from Del Rapids in the top of the fifth inning. Grady Bohr on the mound yet for Parkston, post number 194. Again, these two teams have not lost a game yet here at the state tournament. And there is Bauer now throwing a fastball low and outside. 1 ball and no strikes to Kenny Swanson. And here comes the 1-0 from Bohr. That is a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Kenny Swanson. Here's the Bohr pitch. That is right across at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kenny Swanson walked back in the third inning. He was eventually stranded at second. And the 1-2 pitch now from Bohr. There it is. That is a little bit low. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cole Rusink waiting his chance on deck here for Del Rapids. Here is the 2-2. That is on the ground, sharp to short, scooped up by Jervik. Long throw, and that's not going to be in time. Kenny Swanson reaches.
Swanson reaches on the air, back to the top.
That's going to be an error on the shortstop. That'll bring up Cole Rusink now, who has flied out to right. He has doubled and scored a run. So Swanson on first. We'll see if he's taking off here for Del Rapids or if he's going to stay put. He's staying put for now on the pitch by Bohr. That is a strike to Cole Rusink. So a 1-strike count now to number 3, the third baseman Cole Rusink. Here's the pitch. That's going to be inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Cole. Swanson with a pretty good lead. In the meantime, a swing and a miss by Rusink. Have a nice change-up pitch that time by Grady Bohr. So 1-2 now. Bohr throws over to first. Oh, again, he just about had Kenny Swanson leaning the wrong way. But Swanson dives back in safely. Just under the tag of Caden Holzbauer over there at first. 1-2 the count, and here's a pitch hit into center field by Rusink. That's where Coulter Kramer is tonight, and Coulter puts it in the glove.
Rusink flies out to center field, bringing up the shortstop, number 5, Drake Eastman.
We'll bring up Drake Eastman, the shortstop. He has a single and an RBI and a run scored and a strikeout tonight. Kenny Swanson stays at first, of course, for Del Rapids, and now there's 1 out. Again, Parkston up here 4-2 in the top of the 5th. And here's the pitch. There's a mighty swing and a miss that time by Drake Eastman. Drake, let's put it this way, he wanted to tie the ball game right there with that mighty swing, but he got a little bit tardy on that one. No ball and 1 strike. The count now to Drake Eastman. Throw over to first in the meantime by Bohr, and getting back in again safely is Kenny Swanson. No ball, 1 strike count now to Drake Eastman. There's the pitch. There goes the runner. The throw is to the shortstop side of second base, and Swanson slides in safely with the stolen base. And meanwhile, a 1-1 count now to Drake Eastman. Here comes the Bohr curveball. That's hit back to the retaining wall here behind home plate. So 1-2 now. Grady Bohr gets ahead of the batter Drake Eastman. And Bohr tonight has only given up 2 hits, and he has struck out 2 batters. Here's the pitch. That is low and outside. That gets away from the catcher, and going into third is Kenny Swanson. So a 2-2 count now to Drake Eastman. So now the third possible run for Del Rapids, standing 90 feet away, and that's going to get away from the catcher again, and here comes the third run, Kenny Swanson. So Del Rapids is 1 closer now. It is 4-3. Parkston is holding on to a 1-run lead. Now the bases are empty for Del Rapids with 1 out and a 3-2 count. Full count to Drake Eastman. Here comes the pitch. And that's a walk to Eastman. And that'll bring up Tad Chaden now for Del Rapids. Tad Chaden has gone out first baseman unassisted and grounded out to second. So Tad Chaden now is in the batter's box. It is 4-3. Parkston is leading Del Rapids here in the top of the 5th inning. Here's the pitch to Chaden. There goes Eastman. He got a good jump, and that throw is to the right field side, and that's going to get away into center field, and Drake Eastman ends up all the way on third base.
Now batting third baseman number 13, Tad Chaden.
So now Chaden with an ideal opportunity here to drive in the tying run, and again he could do that with a deep enough fly ball because there are less than 2 outs. And teammate Drake Eastman at third base for Del Rapids, who is down by 1 now, 4-3 to Parkston. And here comes the Bohr pitch. There is a pop fly, and that's going to be in foul territory. Carter Summer coming back and giving it a look, and that is just, he's going to just run out of room right here, right behind home plate. All right, a no ball, 2 strike count now to Tad Chaden, left-handed batter for Del Rapids, playing center field tonight. Actually, he's now over at first base defensively. Here's the 0-2 to Tad. That is outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. And the 1-2 to Chaden. There's a pop fly out of play to the left.
There goes a 2-3 reel of the foul ball.
So Tad Chaden is hanging tough here at 1 ball and 2 strikes now as he's fouled off a few pitches. Here's the 1-2 to Chaden. He swings and misses. And that is strikeout number 3 tonight for Grady Bohr.
Now batting the left fielder, number 11, Connor Hansen.
That'll bring up Connor Hansen now. Catcher Carter Summer is going to run the ball back out to his pitcher Grady Bauer, and they're going to have an little infield gathering here as the rest of the infield comes over as well to get the strategy here now. That's going to bring up Connor Hansen, the left fielder for Del Rapids. Flew out to center field and popped out to third. So the tying run, and Drake Eastman is still at third, but now there are 2 outs, so now Del Rapids will have to get a traditional hit in order to score the guy from third base. And Connor Hansen now, here's a pitch, curveball by Bohr, and that's popped up into foul territory, and that is going to hit on the stands right off to the right of me here in foul territory. So Connor Hansen now with a no ball, 1 strike count. And here's the 0-1. He offered at it. That was almost kind of a defensive swing that time by Connor Hansen. He really didn't want to get hit with the baseball, but then he kind of committed and swung instead. So no balls and 2 strikes now to Connor Hansen. Eastman on third. Del Rapids down here 4-3. Here's the pitch. And there's a 2-hopper to short. Mason Jervik over to first. And the out is complete. So Del Rapids does get 1 closer. So now after 4.5, it's Parkston. Post 194, 4. Del Rapids post 65, 3. We'll be back with more State B American Legion Baseball in a minute on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
Milbank Legion Post 9 welcomes all teams and fans to the state tournament. Milbank is the birthplace of Legion Baseball, and they're honored to be able to host the event at the new ballpark. What started 100 years ago has grown to over 50 states and Canada, with over 3,500 teams participating. American Legion Baseball, giving players an opportunity to develop their skills, personal fitness, leadership qualities, and have more fun. Play ball.
Lewis Family Drug is your one-stop location. In addition to quality prescription and non-prescription drugs with free delivery, Lewis has a huge selection of everyday basics and name brands and specialty items, always at affordable prices. They carry seasonal items, fabrics, crafts, and groceries. Shopping at your local Lewis Drug is more simple and more rewarding than ever. Download the Lewis mobile app to add on-the-go convenience to your errands. Lewis Family Drug. Everyday savings close to home.
And welcome back into the broadcast booth here. Little Sunday night baseball. I'm Chad. Back at the studio is Jeff. Glad to be along with you, everybody, here tonight, wherever you are listening and or watching on our worldwide stream or on our local radio station or wherever you are. Glad to have you along here tonight. I hope you all had a great weekend. Yeah, it's back to work tomorrow, isn't it, huh? Monday again tomorrow.
Leading off for post 194 in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And that'll bring up now the third baseman, number 5, Tate Klum for Parkston, post 194. Again, Parkston is clinging here to a 4-3 lead. They scored 4 in the 3rd inning, and that's held up so far. Del Rapids was leading 2-0. They scored 2 in the 1st and 1 in the 5th. Here's the Lincoln Fursdal pitch now to Klum. That is low. 1 ball and no strikes to Tate Klum. And the Fursdal pitch, and that's a mighty swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike.
What's up, Richard?
1-1 to Klum. Here's the pitch. That is right across the plate. Splits the plate in half. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Tate Klum. And the Fursdal 1-2. Here it is. That is low and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Klum. Here's the pitch. That is grounded foul a few feet off to the right. I think Klum might have caught himself on the ankle or maybe shoe top or something on that one. He's kind of walking around a little bit slowly toward the left of home plate right now. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Tate Klum for Parkston, the third baseman. 4-3, Parkston is leading. Here's the pitch, and that is high and outside from Fursdal on the fastball to fill up the count now to Klum. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Cash Negebauer waits on deck for Parkston. Here comes the full count pitch. That is a swing and a miss. Strikeout by Fursdal. That is Lincoln Fursdal's second strikeout here tonight.
Number 6, Cash Negebauer.
And Cash Negebauer now will come to the plate. He has struck out twice. Once against starting pitcher Talon Millage, and the next time against Lincoln Fursdal. Here's the pitch. There's a hit into center field. That was hit pretty good, but Jackson Peppel comes in and has it measured. Jackson Peppel puts it away.
Negebauer flies out.
As Cash Negebauer flies out to center field.
Number 7, Coulter Kramer.
Now we'll bring up now Coulter Kramer with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning for Parkston. Coulter Kramer with that big bases clearing 3-run double back in the 3rd that at that time gave Parkston a 4-2 lead. Again, Dells has responded with 1 since then, so it's 4-3. But Coulter Kramer got just about every inch of that baseball. The only thing he did not do is put it over the fence. But that thing flew a long way for the bases clearing double. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Kramer. He takes a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. And here's the pitch. That's low and outside now to Coulter Kramer. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kramer. Drew Braley would bat next here for Parkston if the half inning stays alive. And 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch. That is on a line right to Drake Eastman at shortstop. He gloves it. Coulter Kramer lines out to short. And that closes the bottom of the 5th. 5 complete. 3 up, 3 down for Parkston, post 194. After 5, Parkston, post 194, 5 or 4. Del Rapids, post 65, 3. We'll be back with more baseball from the State American Legion Baseball Tournament here in Milbank on a Sunday night. We'll be back in 1 minute on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
Looking to sell your home or lake place? First Choice Real Estate is here to help. Whether you're upsizing, downsizing, or simply looking for a fresh start, they want your listing. Their experienced team of agents are ready to go to work for you with proven marketing strategies and a local touch and the local knowledge you can trust. Contact First Choice Real Estate in Milbank today to list your property. Make First Choice Real Estate your first choice. Online at milbanksbest.com. Roy's Sports Shop in Watertown welcomes all teams and fans to town for the Legion Tournament. Roy's has been the sporting goods leader in this area for over 55 years. Uniforms, sports equipment for baseball, softball, hockey, and more. Plus, clothing and footwear, too. Get in the game. Get into Roy's Sports Shop on Highway 212 in Watertown, across from Watertown Ford. Shop weekdays 9 to 6, 10 to 3 on Saturday.
And welcome back here to Milbank. Jackson Peppel leads off in the 6th inning, and that's going to be a tough play for the Parkston fielders, and that's going to be dumped into center field for a single for Jackson Peppel. And that'll bring up Talon Millage now.
Following the leadoff single is the third baseman, number 22, Talon Millage.
Talon Millage now at third base for Del Rapids. And one strike, or no ball and one strike, no ball count and no strikes to Millage, who's just in the batter's box now. And there goes the runner to second. Peppel, a good jump. The throw is way over the second baseman's head. Sliding in safely is Jackson Peppel. And a 1-0 count now to Talon Millage. And here's the pitch. That is high and inside to Millage. 2 balls and no strikes. And there's a kind of a defensive swing that time by Talon Millage. He missed it. 2 balls and 1 strike. Carter Summer is taking the ball back out to his pitcher now, Grady Bohr. And a quick little conversation on the mound. And again, don't forget, games tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock, and then again about 6:30. Micah will take you through those 2 games, and again, it depends on the outcome of this game, but the 4 teams that will be playing tomorrow are Parkston, Del Rapids, Groton, and Dakota Valley. We do know that. But again, exactly what time they will play and opponent to be determined yet here over the next half hour or so. 2-1 the count to Millage, and here's the pitch. That's a chopper to short, and that's going to get past the shortstop, and this game could be tied, and here's the throw home, and diving in safely is Jackson Peppel, and Talon Millage ends up at second base. I don't know how we're going to score that one, but that, I believe, was a bad hop single that time. And
now batting, the pitcher number 12.
And so now it is tied up.
At second base, running number 20.
At 4.
Lavoie.
And that's Tommy Lavoie now running at second base. That'll bring up Lincoln Fursdahl. Lincoln Fursdahl is flied out to center, and he has reached on a fielder's choice. Again, a brand new ball game here at 4 in the top of the 6th inning. Del Rapids has scored 2 in the first, 1 in the 5th, and now 1 so far here in the 6th inning. And there's still nobody out for Del Rapids here in the top of the 6th. And Lincoln Fursdahl takes a ball. 1 ball and no strikes to Fursdahl. Here comes the pitch. He squares to bunt, and that is a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike, as coming charging in from his first base position that time, expecting the bunt, was Caden Holzbauer. So 1 ball and 1 strike, and that is inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Again, Holzbauer charges in. He's only about 10 feet or so from the plate by the time the pitch almost gets to the plate. So 2-1 now the count to Fursdahl. There's a pickoff move to second base. They've got the runner in the hot box there. That's a courtesy runner, Lavoie. And he is going to be in between third and short. Now he's in the rundown, and they're going to try to get him, and Lavoie will be tagged out as he's trying to get back to second base. So that is a 1 out now for Del Rapids. And Lincoln Fursdahl with a 2-1 count. That was a nifty play by the Parkston defense that time, as they threw back, and they got Tommy Lavoie a little bit too far off of second base. Then he got into the rundown between second and third and was tagged out as he was heading back to second. Here's the 2-1 now to Fursdahl. That's low and outside. 3 balls and 1 strike now to Fursdahl. Del Del Rapids has scored here in the top of the 6th to tie matters at 4. And here's the pitch. That is a ball, so Fursdahl walks.
Fursdahl draws the 1-out walk, bringing up the catcher number 8, Gage Bunkers.
And that'll bring up the catcher number 8, Gage Bunkers. He has grounded out first baseman unassisted, and he has struck out. Meeting at the mound here for Parkston. And we'll see what happens here as Del Rapids has tied the score here in the top of the 6th inning. Again, we catch a chance. Let's thank some of our sponsors here. All tournament sponsors. Birch Miller Post 9, American Legion Post, Lewis Family Drug, First Choice Real Estate, Roy's Sports Shop, Jurgen C-Store, Milbank Ford, Harry's Implement Fernie, Street Graphics, Schmidt's Landing, Milbank Eye Care, Otter Tail Power Company, Har Motors, Barry Keith, Al's Body Shop, Strong Realty, Dairy Queen, Ortonville, Dakota Country Ag Service, Whetstone Sanitation, Millstone Family Restaurant, Pro Image Partners. And that will bring up now Gage Bunkers. Like we said, meeting at the mound is over. So Del Rapids with Fursdahl at first and a tie score at 4 here in the top of the 6th. And that's going to be a ball. 1 ball and no strikes now to Gage Bunkers. Kenny Swanson patiently waiting on deck here for Del Rapids. Here's the pitch. That's right up the center of the field to the shortstop. Touches second for 1 and then airmails the throw to first. So Mason Jervik got the lead runner, Fursdahl, out at second, and then he fired a ball that went way too high over to first base.
Right fielder number 17, Kenny Swanson.
And that'll bring up Kenny Swanson now for Del Rapids, the right fielder. Swanson tonight has reached on an error. He scored a run and he's walked. So Bunkers is at second.
Why can't you not have him going over first?
Okay, Kenny Swanson now with a 1 ball, no strike count. There's a beautiful curved ball that floats over the center of the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike to Kenny Swanson. 2 outs. Go-ahead run. Gage Bunkers is standing out at second base for Del Rapids with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. There's a pop fly into short right field. Charging in, losing his cap, but making the catch is James Deckert. But Del Rapids does score the equalizer here in the top of the 6th inning. As Del Rapids does plate 1 run, your score after 5.5, it's Del Rapids 4 and Parkston 4. We'll be back with more from the State Legion Baseball Tournament in a minute on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
Calling all anglers and adventurers. Discover the ultimate convenience store at Jurgen C-Store in Wilmot. New to our lineup, live bait. That's right, we've got fresh minnows and wriggling worms to help you hook the big one. But wait, there's more. Our deli serves up savory burgers, mouth-watering Piccadilly pizza, snacks, cold beverages, and a whole lot of yum. And don't forget to top off your tank while you're here. Fill up your car, pickup, and boat with top-notch gas so you can hit the road or the water without missing a beat. For all your fishing and fueling needs, there's only one name to remember, Jurgen C-Store in Wilmot. Another great Stills and Oil Company C-Store. Let the adventure begin.
Hi, Darren Mertens here from Milbank Ford. We have a great new inventory on hand here, so come in, check them out, take a test drive, and have Chuck work out a great deal for you for some new transportation. We also have a lot of very nice pre-owned units. If you are in the need of service, call in and talk to Gene, Ryan, and they will take care of all your maintenance and repair needs. 605-432-4525 or millbankford.net. Milbank Ford, West Highway 12 in Milbank.
All right. right, we're going to the home half of the sixth. Parkston is coming up to the plate now in the tie game at 4-4 with Del Rapids. Lincoln Fursdal still on the bump here for Del Rapids. Trying to catch maybe a couple of possible changes here on defense.
Now batting for Parkston, the second baseman, number 2, Drew Braley.
Looks like Tommy Lavoie, I think, is out in right field now. Cole Rusink is at third. And that is going to bring up for Parkston now Drew Braley, the second baseman. Here's the pitch to Braley. That is into left center field. And going back to catch it is the left fielder, who I believe is still Connor Hansen out there.
Now batting the shortstop, number 0, Mason Jervik.
I'll bring up Mason Jervik now for Parkston. Mason has a single. He's grounded to short. And here's the pitch by Fursdal. There's a swing and a miss by Mason Jervik. And here's Fursdal's pitch. That is right there for a strike across the plate. No balls and 2 strikes now to Jervik. Again, we're tied at 4 here in the bottom of the 6th. Parkston and Del Rapids. And here is the pitch. And that is low. So 1 ball and 2 strikes now is the count to Mason Jervik. Jax Kurtenbach waits on deck for post 194. And here is the 1-2 from Fursdal. That is a fastball, but a little bit low. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Mason Jervik. And here's the 2-2. There's a pop fly foul back to the netting here behind home plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jervik. The 2-2 now. Here's the pitch and hit into left center field. And that catch is going to be made out there again by left fielder Connor Hansen.
Jervik flies out to the left fielder for out number 2.
That'll bring up Jax Kurtenbach.
11, Jax Kurtenbach.
Jax tonight is grounded to short, and he has singled. And here's the pitch from Fursdal. There's a pop fly. That's going to be out of play behind the crow's nest here.
There goes the Milbank forward, foul ball.
So no ball and 1 strike. The count now to Jax Kurtenbach. And the Fursdal pitch, here it is. That is right across but low. 1 ball and 1 strike. And the 1-1 now, here it is. That is a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. And there is a strike. Fastball delivered by Fursdal. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And here comes the pitch. That is laced into left field. And that is going to get down for a hit. And standing up at second with a double is Jax Kurtenbach. So that is the go-ahead run right there for Parkston, and that'll bring up Caden Holzbauer. Caden is lined out hard to third base. He was hit by a pitch, scored a run, and grounded out, pitcher to first. Here's the Fursdahl pitch. That is low and inside. That gets away from the catcher, and scampering into third is Jax Kurtenbach. So Jax is at third, now 90 feet away with the go-ahead run, and there's going to be a meeting at the mound now. The Del Rapids coach comes out of the first base dugout. And we want to remind you there are 2 games on tap for tomorrow. The first one at 4 o'clock. Second one 30 minutes after that, or neighborhood of 6:30. Again, Micah Warrington back on the microphone for you tomorrow. One of the games will also be on our sister station B103 because Groton is playing yet tomorrow. All the games will be on KMSD, of course, and streaming audio and video on the website, of course, as well. So now the meeting at the mound is over. The Del Rapids coach will return to the first base dugout. And it's a 1-ball, no strike count to the batter, Caden Holzbauer. Jax Kurtenbach on third. It's tied at 4, and here's a pop-up into foul territory. Catcher Gage Bunkers comes back to give it a look, but that is going to hit out of play. And the 1-1 now, here it comes. That is low and outside to Holzbauer.
Next foul ball, over 5.
2-1 now the count to Holzbauer. Here's the pitch. There's a weak ground ball to third. That's going to be a tough play, but Cole Rusink makes that look easy. What a play by Cole as he charged in from third base and fired a BB over to first and just got Caden Holzbauer out. Nifty play on defense that time by Cole Rusink at third base. So no runs for Parkston in the home half of the 6th. We go to the 7th. We're tied at 4. Del Rapids and Parkston. This is a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Back with the top of the 7th coming up in a minute on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
Step up to the plate with farm equipment you can count on. From Harry Implement in Fernie, your hometown Case IH and Massey Ferguson dealer, delivering a lineup of tractors, combines, and hay equipment that hits it out of the park. Need parts? Service? We're in your corner. Family owned since 1935. Harry Implement is built on hard work and rooted in the land, just like America's pastime. Harry Implement in Fernie. Sales, service, and parts that cover all the bases. Harry Implement, proud to support the Groton Legion Post 39 baseball team at the state tournament.
Here's where the good ideas come from. Street Graphics, Main Street, Milbank, working with local schools to provide ideas and solutions for fundraising. They can customize a design just for you. T-shirts, trophies, banners, buttons, contract printing, they do it all. They work in quantities from 1 to 5,000. Printing and promotions, they print on anything but paper. See them at streetgraphics.com. That's graphics with an EX. Main Street, Milbank, South Dakota, streetgraphics.com.
And a new pitcher for Parkston. He is number 26, Wyatt Anderson, for post number 194. Again, we're going into the top of the 7th, tied at 4. The only 2 undefeated teams left here this year in the Class B State American Legion Baseball Tournament. And Del Rapids will bring up the top of their lineup here to face the relief pitcher, Wyatt Anderson. Cole Rusink, who made a nifty defensive play to close out the top of the 7th inning, or the bottom of the 6th.
65 in the top of the 7th inning. The third baseman, number 3, Cole Rusink.
Cole has doubled, scored a run, flied out to right, and flied out to center. So Wyatt Anderson now in relief of Grady Bohr, and that's going to hit Rusink. So Cole goes to first base on the hit by pitch. And that'll bring up Drake Eastman now for Del Rapids.
Now batting the shortstop number 5, Drake Eastman.
Drake Eastman has singled, he's scored a run, he's driven in a run, he's walked, and he has struck out. 4-4, top of the 7th. Here's the Anderson pitch. That is going to be a strike. Grady Bohr goes 6 full innings. And the 1-strike pitch now is upcoming here to Drake Eastman. Wyatt Anderson takes the sign. Here's a push bunt down the first base line, but it's foul by Drake Eastman. Drake Eastman, as they say, tried to take that one with him that time down the first base line. It just went foul. Cole Rusink is on first for Del Rapids. Drake Eastman in the batter's box with a no-ball, 2-strike count against relief pitcher Wyatt Anderson. And Anderson's pitch, here it is. That is inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One ball and 2 strikes now to Drake Eastman. And there goes Rusink to second. He got a good jump. Throw down to second is there, but it's not in time as Cole Rusink steals second base head first.
Now batting the first baseman, number 13, Tad Chaden.
That'll bring up Tad Chaden now. As Eastman struck out on that stolen base. Tad Chaden has struck out. He's grounded out to second and gone out first baseman unassisted. Cole Rusink dancing around out there at second base. He is tempting himself, I think, to take off for third. We'll see if Cole does take off to third here. 1-0 the count to Tad Chaden. Here's the pitch. Tad dumps that single into center field, and they are going to wave around Cole Rusink. And Del Rapids has grabbed the lead on an RBI single by Tad Chaden. And Cole Rusink scores the go-ahead run here in the top of the 7th inning. So getting a credit for an RBI single is Tad Chaden, and on the throw he goes to second base.
Now batting the left fielder, number 11, Connor Hansen.
So Del Rapids has grabbed the lead back. They did go out here in front 2-0, and then Parkston came back with 4. And now Del Rapids has scored 3 unanswered here in the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th innings. And here's the pitch now to Connor Hansen. He takes a ball. Connor tonight has flied out to center, popped out to third, and grounded out to short. So Del Rapids now has grabbed the lead at 5-4. And that single to center by Tad Chaden. Here's the pitch. That is low and outside. That gets away from the catcher. And Chaden goes into third base. So there's still only 1 out, so Connor Hansen, if he gets a deep enough fly ball here to some part of the ballpark, that will score a run, even though it might be an out. An insurance run, I guess, if you will, standing 90 feet away for Del Rapids. They have a 5-4 lead now. And here's the pitch from Anderson. That is a grounder to short. Nice job by Mason Jervik as they were playing in, of course, and Jervik checked the runner Chaden back to third and fired over to first to get Connor Hansen. So that was a nice heads-up play by the shortstop. Jervik that time. So that'll bring up now Jackson Peppel with Chaden still standing at third, but now there's 2 outs. And here's here's the pitch. That is high. 1 ball and no strikes to Peppel. Infield now for Parkston, back at their normal depth with 2 outs. 1 ball and no strikes. That is low. 2 balls and no strikes to Jackson Peppel. Wyatt Anderson in relief here of Grady Bohr. Here's the 2-0. That is right there for a strike. Two balls and a strike now. Here's the pitch. That is a sharp. That is going to be a single past the second baseman. Tad Traden comes in to score. Jackson Peppel, RBI single for Del Rapids, and they are up now 6-4.
Hanson with the RBI.
As that was a sharp grounder that just got past Drew Braley at second base, but that was hard hit. So now it is 6-4 Del Rapids. And that will bring up Talon Millage. No, not Talon Millage, I don't think. Yes, it is Talon Millage.
Matt Nelson.
Oh, Matt Nelson. Okay. Matt Nelson batting now for Del Rapids. Left-handed batter takes a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike now. It's number 23, Matt Nelson. And here's the pitch. There's a swing and a miss. He wanted to hit that one hard somewhere, did Matt Nelson, but he came up empty. 1 ball and 2 strikes now with Jackson Peppel on first. Dells has pushed 2 across here in the top of the 7th to take a 6-4 lead. Here's the pitch. That is a strike. So Nelson strikes out. 6.5 complete. Del Rapids does come up with 2 runs. So after 6.5, it is Del Rapids 6 and Parkston 4. Last chance time for Parkston in the bottom of the 7th coming up on the other side of this break. We'll be back in 1 minute with more baseball. Back in 1 minute on KMSD.
Dreaming of a getaway? Escape to Schmidt's Landing on beautiful Big Stone Lake. Whether you're casting for walleyes, perch your bass, or just enjoying the stunning views, Schmidt's Landing has something for everyone. Relax in comfortable lakeside suites, or set up your camper or tent for a long weekend. How about spending this summer at your seasonal RV spot? There are also boat and pontoon rentals, plus a fully stocked C-store with bait and license. Discover a family adventure or a peaceful retreat at Schmidt's Landing. Visit schmidtslanding.com and like them on Facebook. This summer in Milbank, the crack of the bat and cheers from the stands bring us all together. Whether you're watching your grandkid hustle to first base or catching a game under the lights, Milbank Eye Care is here to help you see it all. No squinting required. From clear glasses to summer shades, they'll help you catch every moment in sharp focus. Swing by to make an appointment for a checkup. Milbank Eye Care. Clear vision, community pride, and baseball memories made sharp.
And welcome back in to Milbank here, birthplace of American Legion Baseball. 100 years they've been playing this game, and it was founded right here in Milbank, South Dakota. And this is the home of the Class B American Legion State Tournament this weekend, and well, actually started Friday, will end on Tuesday. Parkston will come up to bat here in the bottom of the 7th, trailing 6-4. As Del Rapids is leading, like we said, 6-4, and Carter Summer to the plate now for Parkston. Lincoln Fursdahl still on the bump here for Del Rapids. Summer tonight has a pair of singles and a pop out to first. Here's the pitch. That is a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Carter Summer. James Deckert waits on deck here for Parkston. 1-1, and here's the pitch. That's going to be a pop-up into foul territory. Tad Chaden gives it a look from his first base position, but it's out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 6-4. Del Rapids is leading here over Parkston. And here's the pitch. That is low and outside. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. And here's the 2-2. That is a strike. Called strike 3. So Carter Summer rung up on strikes.
Now up to back right fielder number 9, James Deckert.
So, let's see, strikeout number 3 recorded by my book here by relief pitcher Lincoln Fursdahl. That'll bring up James Deckard now. Right fielder for Parkston. They're down to their last 2 outs here. They are trailing by 2, 6-4. And here comes the pitch. There's a grounder to short. Drake Eastman up with it over to first and not in time. Hustling down the line that time is James Deckard, and he beats out the infield single. That, what you call, ladies and gentlemen, if you were watching our stream or even if you weren't, that right there is what you call hustle out of the batter's box. I mean, that was a routine grounder kind of to Eastman, and I mean, Eastman made a good play on it, but Deckard had already crossed first base by the time Eastman got the ball over there. So sheer hustle on the single that time by James Deckard, and that'll bring up Tate Klum now. Tate has an RBI tonight on a walk. He's also struck out and flied out to left field. 1 ball and no strikes now to Klum, who is actually the tying run now. And that is high. 2 balls and no strikes to Tate Klum. So the 2 ball, no strike count. Here it is. That is right there for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. To Tate Klum from Parkston. Here's the Fursdahl pitch. That is hit deep to left field. Deep, 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 and that is gone. And this game is tied. A 2-run homer to left by Tate Klum. And that ties up your ball game as he got every inch of that one, and that flew out to left field. 2-run homer by Tate Klum for Parkston. And this game is tied up at 6. And that is going to bring a visit to the mound now from the Del Rapids coach. And we are tied at 6 here in the home half of the 7th. As we've seen home runs fly out of this ballpark today. It gets up into this wind, and it is just really, it's really interesting to watch those balls fly sometimes. As Cash Negebauer is in the batter's box now. You're in tune to Classic Hits 95.1 KMSD FM, 1510 AM KMSD, Milbank, South Dakota, and streaming audio and video, BigStoneRadio.com. And here's Cash Negebauer now. There's a mile-high pop-up into right field. And that is going to be a collision between the right fielder and second baseman, but the right fielder does come up with it.
Now batting the center fielder, number 7, Coulter Kramer.
Actually, that might have been the second baseman that caught it. Anyway, it's an out, but
I'd say what makes it 8-1 and Parker.
Coulter Kramer now in the batter's box for Parkston. There's a hit down in the right field side, and
there goes the 203 Realty foul ball.
Chaden and Jake Heinitz now, who I believe is in there in right field, gave chase to that one. Neither one could come up with the catch. So no balls and 1 strike now, the count to Coulter Kramer. So we're tied at 6 now on the 2-run homer to left by Tate Klum, and that foul is back to the netting behind the screen. So no balls and 2 strikes. One ball and 2 strikes now, the count to Klum. And there's a pitch. That is a ball. And the 2-2, that is grounded into right field, an opposite field single for Coulter Kramer.
Kramer with a 2-out single in right field, now batting in second baseman, number 2, Drew Braley.
That'll bring up Drew Braley now, number 2, the second baseman. He has flied out to left. He has reached on a fielder's choice and popped out to first. Again, we're tied at 6, Parkston and Del Rapids here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And so now actually the winning run on first base is Coulter Kramer for Parkston. And here comes the pitch. That is low and inside. So Fursdal has the sign. There's a swing and a miss. One ball and 1 strike now to Drew Braley. There goes the runner to second, and sliding in safely head first is Coulter Kramer, as he took off on that pitch, and it was a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. So now the winning run, and Coulter Kramer is at second base. And Drew Braley with a 2-1 count now for Parkston. And here's the Fursdal pitch, and there's a swing and a miss by Braley. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-run homer by Tate Klum, the highlight of this half inning so far for Parkston. And the 2-2 now, here it is. And that's hit into center field by Braley, and that is going to be caught out there by the center fielder. And so we will go extra innings as Braley flies out to center field. So the bottom of the 7th is complete. Parkston does score 2 runs to tie things at 6. We'll be back with the top of the 8th coming up in a minute on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
When Mother Nature turns up the temperature, we all feel the heat. It can add stress to almost everything, including the energy resources we rely on. Otter Tail Power Company reminds you there are easy ways to help. Use only necessary lights and turn them off when you leave a room. Turn your AC thermostat up a few degrees. and use window coverings to block the heat of the sun during the day. Visit otpco.com/tips for more ideas on how to stay cool. Together, we can all make a difference to help keep the heat.
Looking for your next ride? R Motors in Aberdeen is now offering 0% financing for qualified buyers on select Nissan Rogues, Pathfinders, and Muranos. Plus, don't miss great deals on Toyota Tacomas and Tundras. They're the home of the lifetime warranty, so you can drive with confidence for miles to come. Stop in and see Barry Keith at R Motors, just across from the airport in Aberdeen, or call 605-725-8624. Proud to support the Groton Legion Post number 39 baseball team. Good luck in the region tournament.
And welcome back to Milbank, South Dakota. We're going to play extras here tonight in the game of the undefeated so far in the tournament. As we're going to the top of the 8th inning now, Del Rapids will send up Lincoln Fursdahl to lead off here against relief pitcher Wyatt Anderson for Parkston. And here is the 1-0 pitch now to Fursdahl. He takes a strike. Again, we're tied at 6 here in the top of the 8th inning. Now we're going extras here tonight. Here's the 1-1. That is sharp on the ground, and nice diving stop by the second baseman. But he can't get the ball out of his glove or something, so Fursdahl is at first with a single. That was a hot shot to a second base, and
Catcher number 8, Gage Bunkers.
Drew Braley, now they're looking at Drew. I don't know if it kind of hit his hand or hit his wrist or something. He looks like he's in probably a little bit of pain out there. But he dove for it. It looked like he came up with it, but then all of a sudden just did not make the throw over to first base. We hope he's okay, but it looks like he will be. There's a bunt that goes foul by Gage Bunkers. So Lincoln Fursdahl is at first now with the potential go-ahead run here for Del Rapids in the top of the 8th inning. We're tied at 6. Squaring to bunt is Bunkers. He lays it down the third base line. Nice pickup over there by the third baseman, Tate Plum. And he throws over to first to get Gage Bunkers. And Lincoln Fursdahl goes into second.
Kenny Swanson.
That'll bring up Kenny Swanson now for Del Rapids. Kenny is looking for his first hit here tonight. And here's the pitch. That's low and outside. Nice job behind the dish that time by Carter Summer to prevent Lincoln Fursdahl from taking third. 2 balls and no strikes. Now the count to Kenny Swanson. Again, Lincoln Fursdahl standing out at second for Del Rapids. We're tied here in the top of the 8th. We're going extras tonight. Here's the pitch. Fouled back to the netting here behind home plate. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Kenny Swanson. Fursdahl at second, representing the go-ahead run here with 1 out in the top of the 8th inning. And here comes the pitch. That is inside. 3 balls and 1 strike now to Kenny Swanson. Cole Rusink in the top of the lineup up next here for Del Rapids. And here's Here's the pitch. That is outside, so Swanson gets a walk. Staying at second, of course, is Lincoln Fursdal, and now we turn over the top of the lineup for post 65, Cole Rusink. Cole Rusink was hit by a pitch his last time up, and now there's going to be a meeting at the mound with Parkston personnel as the coach comes out of the third base dugout. And they're going to be talking a little strategy here with Cole Rusink coming up to the plate. Again, a chance so we catch here. Let's thank our sponsors, Birch Miller Post 9, American Legion Post from Milbank, Lewis Family Drug, First Choice Real Estate, Roy's Sports Shop, Jurgen C-Store, Milbank Ford, Harry's Implement, Fernie, Street Graphics, Schmidt's Landing, Milbank Eye Care, Otter Tail Power Company, Har Motors, Barry Keith, Al's Body Shop, Strong Realty, Dairy Queen, Ortonville, Dakota Country Ag Service, Whetstone Sanitation, Millstone Family Restaurant, Pro Image Partners, and the Milbank only exclusive sponsors, and as well as from Clark and Groton as well. Thanks to all the sponsors. Cole Rusink takes a mighty swing and he foul tips it. No ball and one strike to Cole Rusink. Lincoln Fursdal on second, Kenny Swanson on first. We're tied at 6 here in the top of the 8th. Here's the pitch. That is kind of a change-up, slower pitch that time by Wyatt Anderson, and that sails high. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Cole Rusink. Anderson comes to the set. Here's the pitch. That is high and into Cole. Just about hits him, but Cole does get out of the way. So 2 balls and 1 strike now to Cole Rusink. Potential go-ahead run is out at second now with Lincoln Fursdal. Kenny Swanson is over at first. Here's the pitch. That is right across the plate, but high. Good eye that time by Cole Rusink to let that one go by. 3-1 the count now to Cole. Drake Eastman waits on deck for Del Rapids. And the 3-1 pitch upcoming. Here it is, and there's Rusink. He's going to hit that one into left field, and that's actually going to be a single for Cole Rusink.
Now batting on shortstop number 5, Drake Eastman.
Fursdal goes to third, Swanson to second. So now Eastman is up with the bases loaded. So Drake Eastman now has a chance to put Del Rapids back in front here in the top of the 8th inning with 1 out and the bases loaded. Here's the pitch to Eastman. That's high. Parkston's infielders are playing, of course, on the infield grass, hoping to cut off the run at home if at all possible. We're tied at 6 here in the top of the 8th inning. And the 1-0 to Drake Eastman, that is a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike now to number 5, the shortstop, Drake Eastman. Again, we're tied at 6 here in the top of the 8th. We're going extra innings here tonight. As the pitch by Anderson, there's a big hack and a miss by Drake Eastman. So Anderson ahead now, no balls and 2 strikes. Or 1 ball and 2 strikes, I beg your pardon. 1 ball and 2 strikes now, and asking for and getting time granted is Drake Eastman. Again, Fursdal at third, Swanson at second, Rusink at first. We're tied at 6 here in the top of the 8th. Parkston and Del Rapids locked in a good one here in the battle of the undefeateds in the tournament. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And that is a called third strike. Eastman watched that one go by that time. Strikeout number 3
Number 13, Tad Chaden.
for Wyatt Anderson, and now that'll bring to the plate Tad Chaden. RBI single his last time up. He struck out. He's gone out first baseman unassisted and grounded out to second. So Tad Chaden with an opportunity here with the bases loaded. Here's the pitch. That is outside from Anderson. 1 ball and no strikes to number 13, Tad Chaden. One ball and no strikes. Here comes the pitch. That's high and outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Chaden backs out of the batter's box now. He's back in with a 2-0 count. Bases loaded here for Del Rapids in the top of the 8th. 2-0 the count to Chaden, and here's the pitch. That's going to be right there. Center cut fastball for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. So Tad Chaden now with a 2-1 count. Bases full of Del Rapids runners. Chaden goes the other way, and that is a single. 1 run is going to score. 2 runs are going to score. And Tad Chaden comes up with a 2-run double.
Chaden with the 2 RBI single to left field. Now batting number 11, Connor Hanson.
Actually a 2-run single by Chaden, and then he takes second. Fursdahl scores, Swanson scores, and now it is 8-6. Del Rapids back in front here. Tad Chaden with 3 big RBIs here in the last 2 innings. And he has put his team back in front now 8-6. Here's the pitch to Connor Hanson over to short, and that's going to be a 6-3 putout. But Del Rapids does untie the score. They come up with 2 runs. 7.5 complete. We're still in extra innings here. It is Del Rapids 8, Parkston 6. We'll be back with the bottom of the 8th coming up in a minute here on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
Are you in need of collision repair? Look no further than Al's Body Shop. Their team of expert technicians has years of experience and are dedicated to getting your car or truck back on the road in no time. From minor dings to major body damage, they've got you covered. And with their state-of-the-art equipment, they can handle any make or model. Plus, they work with all insurance companies to make the process as easy as possible. Don't let an accident slow you down. Go see Al's Body Shop today. Al's Body Shop, Milbank. Quality collision repair you can trust. Dairy Queen in Ortonville is your locally owned and operated DQ serving the Big Stone Lake area and beyond. Beat the summer heat with one of their cool treats like the famous Blizzard, Peanut Buster Parfait, hand-dipped cone, sundaes, and more. If you're looking for the best meal deal around $7, the DQ deal meal cannot be beat. Choose from a cheeseburger or chicken strips, fries, beverage, and a sundae for only $7. Make the Sunday a Blizzard for just $2 more. Hot eats, cool treats at Dairy Queen in Ortonville. Open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily.
And welcome back. We're going extras here tonight as Del Rapids in the top of the 8th inning. They scored the 2 go-ahead runs now, so it's 8-6. Del Rapids, Parkston is going to try to answer there too with 2 or 3 or so of their own here, so we'll see what happens as Parkston will send up 8, 9, and 1 in terms of batters here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
In the bottom of the 8th, leading off the shortstop, number 0, Mason Jervik.
Mason Jervik, the shortstop, will lead off here for Parkston. Lincoln Fursdahl still on in relief here. He's been on a few innings here for Del Rapids. Here's the pitch. That is inside to Jervik. 1 ball and no strikes. Jervik has flied out to left tonight. He's grounded out to short, and he is singled. So 1 for 3 is Jervik, and he takes a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike now to the Parkston shortstop. And here comes the 1-1. That is on the outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. That's high and in. So Jervik, a very patient at bat here. 3 balls and 1 strike. 8-6 Del Rapids. Here's the pitch. There's a ball inside. So Jervik leads off the half inning with a walk. That'll bring up Jax Kurtenbach. Jax has a double tonight, a single, a ground out to short. So now he represents the tying run, does Jax Kurtenbach. And there's a pitch by Fursdahl. That splits the plate in half. No ball, 1 strike count now to Jax Kurtenbach. And the 0-1, that is on the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. Mason Jervik out at first for Parkston Post 194. Jax Kurtenbach in the batter's box with a no ball, 2 strike count. Here's the Fursdahl pitch, a swing and a miss. Fursdahl's 4th strikeout by my count here tonight.
First baseman number 1, Caden Holzbauer.
And that'll bring up now the first baseman, Caden Holzbauer for Parkston. So Jervik at first, but now there's 1 out for Parkston, and Del Rapids is up here by 2, 8-6. In the bottom of the 8th inning, here's the pitch. That is outside on the corner. No ball, 1 strike count. And the 0-1 pitch now upcoming here to Kurtenbach. Is a round grounder to short, and that's going to get under the glove of Eastman. And going into second is Caden Holzbauer. And stopping at third is Jervik. So I guess that probably has to be, I don't know if that's a single probably.
Now batting the catcher number 4, Carter Summer.
And now it's going to bring up Carter Summer now with the tying run actually on second base again for Parkston. It's 8-6. Del Rapids is leading here, but Parkston threatening once again as Carter Summer comes to the dish. It's 8-6 Del Rapids, but Parkston, like we say, has the tying run on second base. And there's the pitch that's high to Carter Summer. He has a pair of singles tonight and a run scored. And a 1-0 count now to Carter Summer from Lincoln Fursdahl. And here's the pitch. That is a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Carter Summer. James Deckert waits on deck for Parkston. And the 0-1, there's a grounder to Eastman at first. Throw across the diamond is in time. 1 run does score as Mason Jervik comes in to score. Caden Holzbauer to third, and Carter Summer is out at first on the fielder's choice. But he picks himself up an RBI, so it is now 8-7. And the tying run now with Caden Holzbauer standing at third. And the winning run now, James Deckard is in the batter's box. And that is I think that was a ball that time. Here's the pitch. That is high. 2 balls and no strikes now to James Deckard. Single last time at bat and a run scored. He's got another single and 2 other singles, so he's got 3 singles tonight, James Deckard. And he has scored 2 runs. So 3 balls and no strikes now to James Deckard. And here's the pitch. That is a strike. 3 balls and a strike now to James Deckard. And here's the 3-1, and that is Weekly on the ground. Fursdahl says he has it, and he does not make the play in time. And reaching base is James Deckard, and coming in to score the tying run is Caden Holzbauer. We got a brand new ball game, ladies and gentlemen. It's 8 apiece. And now we're going to have a meeting at the mound from Del Rapids, and I think, well, we'll see. They're going to make a pitching change. And it looks like they are. Okay, we'll take a break and we'll catch up with things. We're tied at 8 here in the bottom of the 8th, and we'll be back with more State Legion baseball coming up in 90 seconds on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
Dakota Country Ag Service in Milbank is your local Pioneer seed dealer. Dakota Country is now offering soil testing, and they have winter wheat and rye available. Dakota Country also has inoculants for hay silage, both soluble and dry, and inoculants for baling hay as well. For more information or to schedule an on-the-farm visit, call Paul, 605-467-0715, or Riley, 605-949-4170. Dakota Country Ag Service, your local Pioneer seed dealer in Milbank. Whetstone Sanitation is your locally owned and locally operated garbage service provider in Milbank, rural Grant County, and along Big Stone Lake. Whetstone Sanitation offers once or twice a week residential pickup and up to 5 days per week commercial pickup. Whetstone Sanitation offers 14, 20, and 30-yard roll-off dumpster rentals for those big cleanup projects. Whetstone Sanitation also has quality portable toilet rentals and septic pumping service. And of course, they still provide 24/7 self-service recycling drop-off. Call Whetstone Sanitation today, 432-5854.
As the temperatures rise this summer, the Millstone Family Restaurant in Milbank has decided if you're melting, we're melting. With their all-new summer menu featuring all things melty. Start with the chicken parmesan melt with crispy chicken, deep-fried mozzarella cheese on toasted Texas toast. Yum! The cheesy taco wrap and elevated super burrito with Monterey Jack cheese sauce. So cheesy. The super quesadilla, a classic cranked up a notch, and the cheeseburger salad just may be your new favorite. If you're melting, we're melting at the Millstone Family Restaurant, East Highway 12, Milbank.
And welcome back to the marathon here at the New Legion Field at Farley Park. Twice Del Rapids has taken a lead going into the bottom of the inning, and Parkston has responded 2 times in a row now, as Del Rapids was leading 8-6 going into the bottom of the 8th, and now Parkston has scored the equalizer. It's tied at 8. New pitcher for Del Rapids is Connor Hansen, and James Deckard is at first for Parkston, and Tate Klum now is going to come to the batter's box. Klum last half inning hit the tying 2-run homer for Parkston. He got it up into the Jets. And if Tate does that again, this ball game is over. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here. But Tate Klum already with a 2-run homer tonight and an RBI on a walk. So Connor Hansen now for Del Rapids. That goes way back to the screen, and Deckert, with his speed, goes into second base with no problem. So there is the winning run right there out at second base, and James Deckert. Tate Klum with a 1-ball, no strike count. And Connor Hansen on the bump for Del Rapids. That's their third pitcher tonight. Here's the pitch. That is Klum fouling it back to the netting. He took a mighty swing at that one and missed it, or fouled it back. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Klum. So 1 ball and 1 strike now to Tate Klum, and here is the pitch. That's high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now Gage Bunkers is going to go out and talk to his relief pitcher, Connor Hansen.
No matter what. We know no matter what. It's just a matter of who wins. Who plays late.
The meeting at the mound is over from the catcher and the pitcher. And it's 2-1 now to Tate Klum. And here's the pitch. That's a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Tate Klum. James Deckert is at second. And the 2-2 pitch, here it is. Did he check in time? Yes, he did, according to the first base umpire, Mike Sarda. So the count is full now to Tate Klum. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch now is high, so Klum takes the walk. Deckert at second. And that'll bring up Cash Negebauer, who has popped out. He's flied out to center. He's struck out a couple of times. So Cash with an ideal opportunity here to pick up his first hit on the evening that could possibly be the walk-off win here for Parkston in the bottom of the 8th. Here's the pitch. That's a strike, though, by Connor Hansen. Nice pitch by number 11 that time. 1 strike the count to Cash Negebauer. Runners on first and second. Winning run on second for Parkston. Here's the pitch. That's high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Talon Millage started this game on the mound for Del Rapids. Lincoln Fursdahl came in relief, and now Connor Hansen in relief of Fursdahl. Here's the pitch. There's a swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Cash Negebauer. We're tied at 8 here in the bottom of the 8th. And the pitch, that is outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Good eye that time by Cash Negebauer to take that one. Actually 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Cash Negebauer. And here's the pitch. That is a called 3rd strike. And the half inning is over as Negebauer strikes out. But Parkston does tie the score. We have completed 8 here at the ballpark. It is post 194-8 and Del Rapids post 65-8. We'll be back with more baseball in a minute on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
Image Partners. Image Partners. So many reasons why you can turn to us. We'll help help you show your pride. You want the best for work or play? We're your one-stop image shop. We'll help you show your pride. Go imagepartners.com.
Milbank Legion Post 9 welcomes all teams and fans to the state tournament. Milbank is the birthplace of Legion Baseball, and they're honored to be able to host the event at the new ballpark. What started 100 years ago has grown to over 50 states and Canada, with over 3,500 teams participating. American Legion Baseball, giving players an opportunity to develop their skills, personal fitness, leadership qualities, and have more fun. Play ball.
And welcome back. We've got a marathoner going here. We're tied at 8, top of the 9th. Coming up here, as this game was, of course, scheduled for 7, but we're in extras here. We're in the second extra inning right now as Del Rapids comes to the plate. Jackson Peppel leads it off here for post number 65. There's the pitch from Wyatt Anderson. That is low and outside.
And number 24, Jackson Peppel.
Peppel tonight has an RBI single. He's got another single. He's walked and flied out to left. And the 1-0, there's a grounder too short. Mason Jervik up with it over to first. And not in time. That pulled the first baseman off the bag. So Jackson Peppel.
Now that number 7, Jake Hines.
Gets on. I'm going to probably give him a single on that one, I think, because that was kind of a tough play for Jervik because he was charging in. And a hustle down the first base line by Peppel. So that is his third hit here tonight. And Matt Nelson now in the batter's box. Here's the pitch. Nope, that's number 7. That's going to be a single as well. And that is Jake Heinitz. So he slaps a single into right field.
Now batting number 12, Lincoln Fursdahl.
And that will bring up Lincoln Fursdahl, and now we'll have a meeting at the mound as Parkston's coach comes out of the third base dugout. And so I'm going to see here again now if that's just a meeting at the mound or if they are going to change pitchers. Anyway, we can tell you your score is 8-8. But now Del Rapids, just like that, has the go-ahead run on second base with nobody out on back-to-back singles by Jackson Peppel and Jake Heinitz. Now they're talking strategy here on the Parkston side of things. Again, we are in the top of the 9th inning here. Fans getting their money's worth here tonight. That is for sure. As Lincoln Fursdahl comes to the plate. Lincoln has a single in 4 trips tonight. He's also walked, reached on a fielder's choice, and flew out to center field. So, meeting at the mound by Parkston is over, and here's the pitch. Fursdahl, that gets back to the retaining wall, so Peppel to third, and Heinitz to second. So now there's no outs, and Del Rapids is having a big threat going on here again as Lincoln Fursdahl. Now, there's a little discussion down the third base line here. I can't read lips, and I'm not going to pretend to, so I'm not even going to guess what's going on down there. But anyway, we can tell you that the score is tied here at 8.
You would have been at the meeting and know that.
I think they're going to change pitcher, I think, is what's going to happen, basically. So, anyway, let's see. Let's see here. So who is the new pitcher? Well, we're going to catch up with this whole thing. I tell you what, we'll break for about 90 seconds, and we'll be back with more baseball here on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
Lewis Family Drug is your one-stop location. In addition to quality prescription and non-prescription drugs with free delivery, Lewis has a huge selection of everyday basics and name brands and specialty items, always at affordable prices. They carry seasonal items, fabrics, crafts, and groceries. Shopping at your local Lewis Drug is more simple and more rewarding than ever. Download the Lewis mobile app to add on-the-go convenience to your errands. Lewis Family Drug, everyday savings close to home.
Looking to sell your home or lake place? First Choice Real Estate is here to help. Whether you're upsizing, downsizing, or simply looking for a fresh start, they want your listing. Their experienced team of agents are ready to go to work for you with proven marketing strategies and a local touch and the local knowledge you can trust. Contact First Choice Real Estate in Milbank today to list your property. Make First Choice Real Estate your first choice. Online at millbanksbest.com. Roy's Sports Shop in Watertown welcomes all teams and fans to town for the Legion Tournament. Roy's has been the sporting goods leader in this area for over 55 years. Uniforms, sports equipment for baseball, softball, hockey, and more. Plus, clothing and footwear, too. Get in the game. Get into Roy's Sports Shop on Highway 212 in Watertown, across from Watertown Ford. Shop weekdays 9 to 6, 10 to 3 on Saturday.
Alrighty, welcome back. The new pitcher for Parkston is Tate Klum. Carson Bieber takes over at third, and in the batter's box now is Lincoln Fursdahl with an ideal opportunity. Runners on second and third, nobody out for Del Rapids, and here's a hit into right field, and that is not going to be caught out there by the right fielder, so one run is going to score. And then the ball is thrown around, and here comes the second run, but no, he's not going to try to score. So Jackson Pepple does score, and on the RBI single by Lincoln Fursdahl. And staying at third, just so, is Jake Heinitz. And so now it is 9-8. Del Rapids is back in front. And that will now bring up Gage Bunkers. And here's the pitch. There's a swing and a foul by Bunkers. Bunkers tonight has grounded out to third. He's reached on an error, grounded out third or first baseman unassisted, and he struck out. Del Rapids grabs the lead back here at 9-8. A 2-1 count to Bunkers, and now it's a 3-1 count. Jake Heinitz is at third base. Lincoln Fursdahl is at second. And here is the 3-1 pitch. Bunkers pops it up into foul territory down the third base line, and that's going to be out of play. So it fills up the count now at 3 balls and 2 strikes. If you're just tuning in, well, you've missed a whole lot of baseball here tonight. We are in the top of the 9th inning. These games usually go 7, but yes, we're in the second extra inning. Here's the pitch to Bunkers. That is to second base, over to first for the out. And Parkston was playing way in, of course, that time on the infield, so no more scoring at this point for Del Rapids. Jake Heinitz stays at third.
Number 17, Kenny Swanson.
And Lincoln Fursdahl at second. Now it's going to bring up Kenny Swanson. Swanson has walked a couple times tonight, reached on an error. And a 1-ball, no strike count now to Kenny Swanson with runners on second and third yet for Del Rapids. And here is the pitch. Swanson squares to bunt. And that is high. 2 balls and no strikes. So Del Rapids has scratched across 1 here in the top of the 9th to take a 9-8 lead over Parkston. Here's the pitch. That's low from Tate Klum. Three balls and no strikes, and there's a strike. To Kenny Swanson, who has a 3-1 count now. Here's a pop-up. Carter Summer, the catcher, makes the catch. So Swanson pops out.
Number 3, Cole Rusink.
And that'll now bring up number 3, Cole Rusink. This is his 6th at-bat tonight. Leadoff man. He's got a double. He's got a single. He's flied out to center, flied out to right. Scored a couple of runs. Here's the pitch to Rusink. A swing and a miss. Del Rapids leads by 1, 9-8. And here's the pitch by Klum. That is a strike. Runners on second and third for Del Rapids. Cole Rusink in an 0-2 hole right here. And here's the Klum pitch. That's grounded down the first base line, foul, or third base line, foul. And here comes the 0-2. That's a swing and a miss by Rusink. So Klum gets a strikeout, but Del Rapids does take the lead as they score 1 run. They leave 2 runners on. After 8.5, it is Del Rapids 9, Parkston 8. We'll be back with the bottom of the 9th coming up in 1 minute on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
Calling all anglers and adventurers. Discover the ultimate convenience store at Jurgen Seed Store in Wilmont. New to our lineup, live bait. That's right, we've got fresh minnows and wriggling worms to help you hook the big one. But wait, there's more. Our deli serves up savory burgers, mouth-watering Piccadilly pizza, snacks, cold beverages, and a whole lot of yum. And don't forget to top off your tank while you're here. Fill up your car, pickup, and boat with top-notch gas so you can hit the road or the water without missing a beat. For all your fishing and fueling needs, there's only one name to remember, Jurgen Sea Store in Wilmont. Another great Stills and Oil Company Sea Store. Let the adventure begin.
Hi, Darren Mertens here from Milbank Ford. We have a great new inventory on hand here, so come in, check them out, take a test drive, and have Chuck work out a great deal for you for some new transportation. We also have a lot of very nice pre-owned units. If you are in the need of service, call in and talk to Gene, Ryan, and they will take care of all your maintenance and repair needs. 605-432-4525 or milbankford.net. Milbank Ford, West Highway 12 in Milbank.
And welcome back here to Legion Field at Farley Park on a Sunday night. And boy, are we getting our money's worth here tonight. We are going into the bottom of the 9th. Del Rapids just scored a run in the top of the 9th to take a 9-8 lead. And now Parkston, post 194, will come to the plate. Batters 6, 7, and 8 due up for Parkston against the third pitcher tonight for Del Rapids, Connor Hansen. Again, these are the only 2 undefeated teams left here in the State Class B Legion Tournament. And boy, are they going tooth and nail at it here. Coulter Kramer, like we said, in the batter's box now.
Left fielder, number 7, Coulter Kramer.
Kramer with a 3-run double earlier tonight, way back in the 3rd inning. That's his only hit here tonight. Here's the pitch from Hansen. That is across the plate, but high. 1 ball and no strikes to Coulter Kramer, and here comes the 1-0. That's high. 2 balls and no strikes. From Connor Hansen to Coulter Kramer. Here comes the 2-0. That's that same pitch, except it's a strike. This time, 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 balls and a strike now to Coulter Kramer. Here comes the 2-1. There's a swing and a miss. So Connor Hansen, after falling behind, is battled back now to get the count at 2-2. Here's the pitch. That is low and outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Fills up the count now to Coulter Kramer. Drew Braley on deck for Parkston. 9-8. Del Rapids is leading. And here is the full count pitch. That's a called 3rd strike. And that is a called 3rd strike. Coulter Kramer rung up on strikes.
Now batting number 2, Drew Braley.
And that is Connor Hansen's 2nd strikeout tonight. Drew Braley now in the batter's box. 1 out, nobody on. Here's the pitch to Braley. That's high. 1 ball and no strikes. 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the pitch. That is a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Drew Braley. Base is empty. 1 out for Parkston in the bottom of the 9th. Here's the pitch. That is outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. 9-8. Del Rapids is leading here in the bottom of the 9th inning. And here's the pitch. That's outside on the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Braley steps out of the batter's box now, and he gets back in. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Connor Hansen with the delivery. Here it comes. There's a pop fly. That's going to fly out of play, foul. Again, there are 2 games here yet tomorrow, and Micah Warrington will take you through both of them, and we'll tell you who's playing who after the completion of this game and when they will be playing. There's the 2-2. There's a swing and a miss. So back-to-back strikeouts now for pitcher Connor Hansen, and that is going to bring up now Mason Jervik.
Now batting the shortstop number 0, Mason Jervik.
Jervik has a single tonight. He's grounded out to short. He's flied out to left, and he has walked and scored a run. So here's the pitch from Hansen. That is a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. So Parkston down to their last out here now. It's Del Rapids 9, Parkston 8. And here's the pitch. That is low by Hansen. So 2 balls and no strikes now. Connor Hansen falls behind here. And here's the 2-0. That is on the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the 2-1. There's a pop-up into foul territory down the first base line, and that is going to hit the net. Bunkers, I think, made the catch over there, the catcher, but it hit the net first, and so still alive in the at-bat now with a 2-2 count is Mason Jervik. So now Del Rapids one strike away here. As Mason Jervik with a 2-2 count, he's going to ask for time. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jervik. Here's the pitch. That's high over his head. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the payoff pitch, and there's a hit into center field, and the center fielder comes up with the catch. And Del Rapids does hang on to win this game over Parkston. Your final score, Del Rapids 9, Parkston 8. We'll be back to tell you who's playing who tomorrow. We'll be back in 2 minutes on KMSD and BigStoneRadio.com.
Step up to the plate with farm equipment you can count on. From Harry Implement in Fernie, your hometown Case IH and Massey Ferguson dealer, delivering a lineup of tractors, combines, and hay equipment that hits it out of the park. Need parts? Service? We're in your corner. Family owned since 1935. Harry Implement is built on hard work and rooted in the land, just like America's pastime. Harry Implement in Fernie. Sales, service, and parts that cover all the bases. Harry Implement, proud to support the Groton Legion Post 39 baseball team at the state tournaments.
Here's where the good ideas come from. Street Graphics, Main Street, Milbank, working with local schools to provide ideas and solutions for fundraising. They can customize a design just for you. T-shirts, trophies, banners, buttons, contract printing, they do it all. They work in quantities from 1 to 5,000. Printing and promotions, they print on anything but paper. See them at streetgraphics.com. That's graphics with an EX. Main Street, Milbank, South Dakota, streetgraphics.com.
Dreaming of a getaway? Escape to Schmidt's Landing on beautiful Big Stone Lake. Whether you're casting for walleyes, perch or bass, or just enjoying the stunning views, Schmidt's Landing has something for everyone. Relax in comfortable lakeside suites, or set up your camper or tent for a long weekend. How about spending this summer at your seasonal RV spot? There are also boat and pontoon rentals, plus a fully stocked C-store with bait and license. Discover a family adventure or a peaceful retreat at Schmidt's Landing. Visit schmidtslanding.com and like them on Facebook. This summer in Milbank, the crack of the bat and cheers from the stands bring us all together. Whether you're watching your grandkid hustle to first base or catching a game under the lights, Milbank Eye Care is here to help you see it all. No squinting required. From clear glasses to summer shades, they'll help you catch every moment in sharp focus. Swing by to make an appointment for a checkup. Milbank Eye Care. Clear vision, community pride, and baseball memories made sharp.
Alrighty, welcome back to the post-game show here, and we do have tomorrow's lineup for you. Groton and Parkston will play at 4 o'clock, and Dakota Valley and Del Rapids will play 30 minutes after that game. So, of course, the Groton-Parkston game will be on both B103 and BigStoneRadio.com and KMSD, and Dakota Valley and Del Rapids will be on KMSD only. All right, let's wrap this game up. Del Rapids does come out on top, 9-8. It took 9 innings, but Del Rapids did win here tonight. And let me tell you when they scored here. Del Rapids scored 2 in the first, 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, and 1 in the 9th for their 9 runs. And Parkston scored 4 in the 3rd, 2 in the 7th, and 2 in the 8th for their 8 runs. So again, Del Rapids comes up with the extra inning win, 9-8 over for Parkston here tonight. And so again, that sets up tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Groton will play Parkston. And then half an hour after that, Dakota Valley will play the only undefeated team left in the tournament, Del Rapids. And that is your lineup for tomorrow. Micah will have the games for you tomorrow. But again, we want to thank all of our sponsors and everybody that has helped out here. And let's thank our sponsors here again. The all-tournament sponsors, Birch Miller, Post 9, American Legion Post here from Milbank, Lewis Family Drug, First Choice Real Estate, Roy's Sports Shop, Jurgen C-Store, Milbank Ford, Harry's Implement, Fernie, Street Graphics, Schmidt's Landing, Milbank Eye Care, Otter Tail Power Company, R Motors, Barry Keith, Al's Body Shop, Strong Realty, Dairy Queen, Ortonville, Dakota Country Ag Service, Whetstone Sanitation, Millstone Family Restaurant, and Pro Image Partners. And then there was some Groton sponsors as well, some Milbank only sponsors, and we thank them of course as well, and some Clark sponsors too throughout the whole tournament here. So anyway, at least when those teams played as well. So thanks to all the sponsors, thanks to all the listeners, and again, your final score here tonight, Del Rapids 9, Parkston 8 in 9 innings. For KMSD Radio Sports, I'm Chad Knowles, and we'll talk to you again on Tuesday, but for now, have a great night everybody, and good night.